Okay, we are live. Super duper. Hello, we are back doing one of our one-shot Toonkind D&Ds, and yeah, we're going to just pile straight in with the players. So, in order from top to bottom, as is tradition, if you can introduce yourself and your character, that would be super.
Oh, okay. First, I guess. Okay, so yeah. So I'm 18 Nikoja. I'm playing Kita, a totally not a rip-off of Nico from One Shot, and they are a ranger.
Do you want to visually describe them a little bit for flavour?
Sure. Let me just find the photo.
Yeah, I'll post
Let me just
art
find.
of the characters in the video as well, so that's
Okay, so yeah, they are quite small, especially for a toon, like barely 4 feet. Like they're just over 4 feet. And they're wearing the equivalent of their best attempt of a cowboy's outfit. So like, they have the hat, but that's really it. So other than that, like yeah, they have like a fur coat, and then just everything else is normal kid stuff.
very cute. Very, very cute. Anyway, the hat's the most important thing. Okay,
Yes,
next we have Sharu.
I just remember they do have
Um,
cat ears poking through the hat.
Oh, that's important, yes.
yes. So hi, I'm Sharu. This is my second game ever, so I'm extremely excited. And my character is Gregory Wuna, who is a walking, talking fire hazard, but he's very polite, so it's okay.
Okay.
Okay, and then I guess it's me.
Ye-
Hello, I am Uni. I am playing Fran once more. She is a very large, very beefy lady who is just generally full of enthusiasm and also weapons because she hides them up her sleeves.
It's the best place to keep them.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Well, I shall dive straight in with the game, and I can't wait to see how you guys do. Yeah, hooray! So things are going wrong in Einquell/Inkwell. Sure, okay, we all know that by this point, but that is nothing next to this problem. T.P. Barnon, the famously tunishly real kind human who runs the beloved Inkwell Park, has a rival. This is outrageous. He wants you to investigate. He's heard unsavory rumors, so he says, but even a low-level insight check says he might be a little bit jealous. Business is doing badly after Anquil is a happy place. It was a ride. There was a previous game that was called that, and it was targeted by saboteurs. And even
Oh no.
worse, since the incident of the taffy train, it has caused suspicion and fears of real kind mingling with toons, which is something he and his park have always been a great supporter of. It's always been a very inclusive, non-exclusive experience. And all of a sudden, somewhere else has appeared, and as provided with the map. In terms of legend of the park, of Anquil Park, T.P. Barnon got like the first copy of his map of a traveller while he was sailing to the continent, just drew a big X to find as roughly in the middle of this entire continent as he could find, and was like, I'm gonna build a park right here. And he managed to get it in no Toons land, which is actually a very small stretch of water between two cliffs, between two of the big main lines of UPA and Gisnet, which is genius because everyone can visit it, and there are no like sort of international rules, international rules that you can bring. And it's a great place for diplomacy. It's not just a theme park, but it's actually neutral ground. So there's been lots of political discussions, and people can go on rides. So it's like it's huge. It's hugely popular.
Win.
But
Everybody wins.
yeah, it's a win-win situation. However, it is losing money right now, and he is worried. And as he sweeps up the stairs of the battlements, because this entire place is kind of designed like a cartoonish castle. No idea where you could get that idea from. It's pretty wacky. But he shows you three, who have been selected, definitely not at random, to solve this problem by him. He's not quite Scrooge McCarger levels of thrifty, but he's gonna do things without spending too much money because he's running out of it. And he shows you up to the battlements, and you look over into the water on the other side of this park, down at an island that, if any of you have ever been here before, you're pretty sure that didn't exist before. And it's entirely spherical and circular. It looks like you can see tents in the distance, and he says, well, it's a real dilly of a pickle, this one, guys. I do not know who runs this place, but it's a Toonkind only establishment, so I cannot get in. Trust me, I have tried. And he flounces in his beautiful ball gown that he's wearing underneath his usual circus leader coat with his beautiful silk top hat, and he says, you three, you gotta get in there. I want you to find evidence. I want dirt. I want to be able to get rid of whatever that is. Not just for my own benefit, and he's definitely sort of saying yes, for my own benefit, but also because I just got a vibe about this place. It just, and he's looking at you like for you to say, yeah, we agree there's something weird going on. What do you guys say?
Kita's 11. They have no idea what he's going on about.
That's very fair.
So they're just gonna stare up at him and then give the nod children do when they have no idea what's going on, but they want to please an adult.
He looks very happy about this, and then he turns to the other two.
Just a question. Are we over water? This is important. Like, are we standing at the edge of water?
No, you're in this castle, which is also a park, which is built on the top. It's like a bridge over these two cliffs, and there's a thin channel of the sea that runs underneath it. It's gorgeous. I didn't have the hand strength to draw it, but trust me, it looks kick-ass. So no, you're nowhere near the water. However, the island that he's asking you to go to is definitely in the water, and you will have to take a boat to go there.
Right, so Gregory, trying to maintain his usual gentlemanly calm, but secretly panicking because guess what? Fire doesn't like water at all. It's painful. But he still tries to be very courteous and says something like, well, my good sir, this seems to be quite a problem. I do wish to help you, but I need more details. What are you exactly looking for?
Oh, anything. Just as long as we can basically get rid of it. And he's looking at it like daggers. He just wants to deflate all those circus tents you can see from over here. He does not like this place.
Fran kind of sort of leans against one of the battlements and is sort of squinting out at it. She's like, so what's it do?
And he actually looks kind of flummoxed for a second. And he's like, well, I guess it's a theme park that people go to have fun. And he looks at his own. And have any of you been to this theme park before? It's quite a draw. It's right in the middle of the continent, so it's a bit of a pain to get to sometimes. But have any of your characters visited Anquil Park before?
Kita sadly has not, but they do have a poster of it.
Aww.
Oh. I mean, Gregory likely went around because he travels a lot. He saw this, he heard about it a lot from fellow travelers, but he was kind of too scared to go there. Partially he's a loner, partially it's because he's scared of burning anything.
Aww.
So, yeah.
That's a valid answer. How about you, Fran?
Fran probably went like a couple of times when she was younger. It's been a while.
Aw. Yeah, as you look out, Fran, like the other two, you expected there to be more people, but you've never been here, so you don't actually know if this is normal or not. Fran, you know for a fact that, the quick pass lines, like all of these lines are quick pass lines right now. You can go multiple times on the roller coaster, which usually takes like a couple of hours. And, it's not desolate, but there is a notable lack of people here, and that's very surprising. And he says, well, to wrap it up, I need you to go down there, find out what is happening. You can go on the rides, I'll pay for your fare to get in. And as he's saying this, he's giving you all 10 gold, which is the entrance fee for getting into Idyll Island. Notably, this is half the price of the entrance fee to get into his park. So, you know, there's definitely a bit of about that. He says, well, I just need you to snoop around, find out what you can, get back here safe. I don't know why I'm saying safe, but I just get a feeling about that place. Y'all take care of each other, okay? And he then shuffles you off down the steps, and there is a coach waiting, and you are swept off, down the road, around to the dock that you can see in the bottom left, and you find the free boat taxi to Idyll Island, and you get on, because I need to fast forward this game to the essential parts, and you sail into this bay, and as you get closer, your suspicions that this place didn't exist much longer than, before coming here, are kind of confirmed, because it is unnaturally spherical, this piece of land. You feel like there was some, wizard sorcery business with, terraforming, like Minecraft, but magic. There's lots of tents that you can see poking out of this really big wall that's all around it. I mean, heck, this place has advertised itself as being safe for Toonkind. That's actually been, like, it's had a weird reception. Like, some people have found it very comforting that there's this place that is explicitly only for toons, especially after the taffy train thing. Some people find it very divisive and don't like that at all. But as you are on the boat, there's lots of people in the boat with you, and as you arrive, it's getting pretty late. It's about 11 p.m. It seems to get really busy around then, and there are screams and laughter and all the happy sounds that you would associate with a theme park going on inside this. And at the gate, there is a very svelte-looking fox with a tall, slightly tatty hat, but in a slightly sort of rakish, appealing way. And he's crying out, "Spectacular! Spectacular! No words in the vernacular can describe this great parade. You'll certainly be glad you paid." And this is Honest Dom, and he is at the gates taking the money to let you in. What are you guys going to do?
He is going to walk up and ask in the sweetest tone they can, do children get discounts?
Ah, well, you see, and he leans right down to you and taps the end of the cigar ash very far away from you, because, you're a kiddie wink, and he's got to be nice to you. He says, well, we're very egalitarian in this theme park. Do you know what that word means? It means fairness for everybody. And he's got a glove paw to the back of you, and he's sweeping out with the other, and you think it's odd, but it's very persuasive. You actually kind of, feel respected because he's treating you equally and demanding the same amount of money from all of you.
They're going to sit down and just count out 10 gold.
Yeah.
And then hand them in a pile.
Honest Dom looks very closely as you're doing that, and he's rubbing his hands together. He's like, ooh, yeah, money, money, money. And as soon as there are 10 gold pieces, sweeps them up and says, oh, fantastic. And I'm sure you wouldn't want to leave your little friend all alone now, would you? And he's looking at the other two.
Can I just say that during the boat ride, Gregory was at the verge of a panic attack?
Oh.
The whole time he was standing up, trying to stand away from both people and the edge of the boat.
Tricky.
And
that.
still maintaining his.
Actually,
so,
go ahead and make me a dex save. I want to see how well that went. You arrived, you didn't burn anybody or chuck anybody out of the boat, but how badly this journey was for you.
Oh no, I have no bonuses.
Yeah, and remember to do this in the game zone. Yep, that's a 19. You did really well. You were, you were very conscious of the risk you presented to everybody in this boat, and despite all the difficulties presented to you, the crossing was smooth. It's not too windy today. It's not choppy on the water, and you succeeded. And no one actually noticed that this was a problem for you. You passed it off that well.
So, noticing that Kita was going to the gate, Gregory steps up, courteously bows to the man because, of course, he's a gentleman. He doesn't give him his hand though because too hot to touch. Just puts his hand on his chest as he bows. That's his way of greeting.
Honest Dom returns the gesture. He recognizes this, especially because you appear to be rather elemental.
So, good sir. How much shall it be again? 10 gold, is it?
10 gold! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces of gold! It's a bargain, a bargain, a bargain! And he's saying this to everybody else who's passing by you and also paying.
Okay, he takes out the coins, waits a moment until they cool down, and hands it to him very, very carefully.
Even so, Honest Dom juggles them comically for a second and passes them to a silent cat who has come up beside him. Here, dig in, dig in. You go and bring these fine patrons. They're complimentary drinks on the double now. Spit, spot, spit, spot, spit, spot. And the cat runs away to get complimentary drinks.
Are you okay, good sir? He is very worried because he knows how it is when he burns people. He's like trying to inspect his hand. It's all right.
Yeah, his hands are fine. They're under gloves, but you know it's the comical toonish thing where they swell up and go ba-dump ba-dump for a second, but they're fine. Fran, how about you?
I mean, it is literally not her money, so she does not need to make a song and dance out of it. It's just like, yeah, this place looks rad. Let's do this.
Okay.
Sort of like.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you say anything to Honest Dom?
She goes, man, I'm glad you showed up. We have needed something like this lately.
Oh, I understand, my athletically able lady. And he's not patting you on the shoulder because you're very tall and beefy, but he's sort of, you know, nodding sympathetically and rather dramatically. And, you know, it's this funny thing, like everything he says you kind of feel like agreeing with. Do all of you want to make an insight check?
Sure.
Oh, yes.
This is the game where we have to roll the dice.
It's my insight. That's
I just have a 3. Okay.
Ooh, 16.
Ooh.
Not 20.
Oh goodness.
Hey!
Wow.
Can I just say, he illuminated the situation.
I'm in awe. That's incredible. We had a 16 and 2 23s. What do you do? So, you know, Fran, you're all, like, more interested in getting into the park, but even you realize there's something a bit strange about the fact that you feel so inclined to agree with this guy. Doesn't mean you don't, but you're aware of it. You two, Fugri and Kita, you just about catch a glimpse of something shiny on the inside of his coat. And, you know, you'd guess it's some kind of a badge, but you don't get enough of a glimpse of it. But you have a feeling that there is something influencing you. It is not just his natural charisma. However, you don't have much time to process this thought because Digian comes back staggering under a tray of drinks. Interestingly, Fugari, you notice one of them smells a little bit like kerosene. You think that one's for you. And he says, like, here, you must imbibe, and then you can enjoy your absolutely fantastical time here to the fullest. Please, they're on the house. And of course they're not on the house because you paid 10 gold to get in. But what do you do? Will you drink your complimentary drinks?
Fran is very pleased. She goes, look at this guy. She gives him an extremely powerful pat on the back as she picks up one of the drinks.
As you
Every
do that,
instinct is a play.
As Fran pats him on the back, he sort of staggers forward like poo. It's like, yes. Anyway, sorry, you were saying something, Neko.
As a player, every instinct is screaming at me to not take it, But I'm playing an 11-year-old. They don't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to take it, they're just going to grab the drink with a smile and down it.
Great.
All right, so Gregory will look at this kerosene, and the thing is, he doesn't eat, he doesn't drink, he doesn't need to. The only thing that he does is burn tea leaves because he likes the smell. And guess what? Kerosene doesn't smell that great when burned, so he will courteously say, "I'm sorry, good sir, but I don't require this. Thank you for the offer, though." He's kind of ashamed to deny him, but he also doesn't want to spread the smell around because he would choke. Not to mention the 11-year-old in the party, like smoking.
That's all very fair. Honest Dom looks a little disappointed, but again, he's a little wary of you because you're literally a fire. You're not just on fire, you are a fire. So he also doesn't want to get too close to between like the kerosene and the fire. So he just sort of nods and waves Digian away with the last drink. Digian nods and staggers away under the drink, and you hear a clatter and a crash and a boom off screen, so you think something happened there. But you two who have had a drink, I'm gonna note something down.
I said Fran took her drink. She has not drunk it.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, okay, you have a drink in hand. Kita, did you just like down yours? I think you said you did.
Yep.
Okay, well, yeah, so you are now in the park. He stays by the gate saying, come on, there's fun for all the family, especially if you all pay individually, 10 gold. And the voice fades into the distance as you walk into this theme park, which is smaller than the big Anquell Park that you've just come from up on the bridge, which you can see from here. It's such a like middle finger to that establishment that's been here for years. It sucks. But yeah, this park is spherical, surrounded by a big wall. There's like, you know, your average carnival stands with games you can play, but the big draws, there are big draws. Joke about knickers, insert that here. So there is a House of Mirrors, a roller coaster, a merry-go-round, and way at the back there's a pool bar, which looks like it might be nice to relax in at the end. But yeah, those are the biggest things. House of Mirrors, roller coaster, merry-go-round. What do you want to do?
Can I ask, like, how big's the crowd? How busy is it?
It's pretty busy. I mean, it's Saturday night at 11 p.m, and this seems to be, for some reason, a very active time. In fact, you vaguely remember knowing that this place only really opens after 6 p.m, you know, when the sun starts to set. Not sure why that is, but that's the gist. And yeah, you have come at peak business time, and it's quite a rowdy crowd.
Okay, so I'm going to say that, you know, in the hustle and bustle, someone bumps into Fran and she spills her drink and she goes, whoa, oh, kiddo, come here. And she actually scoops up Kita and like pops him up on her shoulder. She goes, we don't want you getting lost, Squirt. You just let me know where you want to go.
That's so freaking cute. You get an inspiration point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do notice that there is something weird about Kita's coat. You're not sure what, however.
Fair enough.
Mysterious code.
Ominous.
Also, yeah, just like life hack for the two of you who haven't played with me before. By the way, hello, Sharu and Nika. You've never played with me before. Thanks for playing my game. If you want like inspiration points, all you have to do is be in character or make me laugh. Like, it's that easy. Okay, and yeah, I'm not gonna like cajole you, that's the word, cajole you to do like things like insight or perception rolls, but you know, there are things you can do, but there are those three main rides you can go on and the pool bar at the back.
Okay, Kita's going to be looking for the cat from earlier.
A cat from earlier? Oh yes, of course. Digian, of course. Sorry, with
Digian.
you, I was thinking of another sort of cat, but yes,
No.
sure. I would say roll perception or investigation if you're looking specifically for that cat. Not sure which actually.
Nope. 1d20. I will do perception
Okay.
because I am better at that.
That's fair. And with the 22, you certainly are able to see the end of the cat's tail disappear into the House of Mirrors.
Going to tap her shoulder and point you. Follow the cat, please. I want to ask it a question.
Can do. Hey, you coming, hothead?
He kind of blushes when she says hot. But he will of course collect himself and follow them at a safe distance. He also kind of is interested in Digian, because after that explosion he was kind of worried about that guy. And he was kind of thinking if maybe he had wounds he could tend to, because he has some medical experience. So he is all about following that guy, making sure he is all right.
That's great.
So let us go, my lady and young one.
One thing, being with this fire guy who is, it doesn't take a whole lot to notice how anxious he is about not burning people, but this is also a crowded area. Are people like paying attention to try and give him a berth? Like
that's a really good question. You know what? I'm just going to roll a straight d20 and see if they are. 17. Yes, people are aware of a fire, especially because it's dark. So they are generally sort of swaying aside and around you, but it's almost like some of them are a little too last minute, so it's a bit like, okay. And you follow the cat, even though it's dark, because you can sort of smell singed fur. Again, like the comical explosion does leave a trail for you to follow to the House of Mirrors. And I assume you all want to go in.
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the safest.
Yeah.
And also, can I just add, Gregory just keeps saying, excuse me, please, I need to step, I'm sorry. He just keeps saying that as he goes through, even though people notice him, so,
Oh, that's, that's very polite.
Baby.
I really dig, am I saying this right? Fuguery? Is that how you pronounce it? Is it fuguery? Have we lost?
You're kind of cutting, sorry.
I'm asking if I'm saying his name right, because I don't want to get it wrong.
Gregory.
Figgery. Figgery? Is that right?
I think
So
it's
Gregory, but fire. Fwiggery.
Furiggery. Sorry, it's because your voice is a bit muffled and I'm not great at hearing. So.
Yeah, sorry.
No. I'm
better now.
Well, if I keep getting it really badly wrong, just yell at me, because I will try and get it correct. I'm looking at you, Tobias. I said your name like Tobias the whole time last game, and it's Tobias, and I am an idiot. Okay. So yeah, you go into the House of Mirrors, and it's typical cartoon House of Mirrors. All your bodies in the reflections are funny shapes. You have a good time looking at that and making fun of it. Like, are there any particular mirrors that you look in? Like, what happens to your body? You guys describe.
Can I just say that the whole room is really, really bright right now? Really bright.
Keita's having the time of their life, because they've never been to an amusement park. This is awesome.
Gary is just looking at one of the mirrors that makes him just that tad wider. Like those mirrors that make you usually very wide. He's so freaking thin that it only makes him like usual amount of slim. He's also inspecting his head, because he's self-conscious about something on there.
Aww.
When Keita runs past that mirror, they go from like 4 feet to 2 feet. That's short. So
Really
just
tiny.
yes.
Aww.
Fran goes in front of like one that makes her look like weirdly skinny, but also it's just like it is all disproportionate all over of where the bulk ends up.
Yes, very much displaced mass. And the thing is, you guys are having such a great time that you totally lose track of even the scent of where Digian had disappeared to. And by the time you realise this, you are deeply lost inside this maze of mirrors. Can you all please make me an intelligence saving throw? Or, yeah, no, saving throw. Kita,
Oh, good.
you have to do that at disadvantage. And yes, that's because you had a drink.
13.
Gregory, what the frick?
2d20. I'm gonna have to. Oh, you did both at the same time. You're so smart. I have never thought of doing that.
Oh!
Oh boy. Oh my goodness. Hey, guess what, guys? You all failed. That's amazing. Okay. That's really good news for me. Let me just write that down. So, what happens with this is, at first it's kind of funny. You're all kind of laughing about it. You're like, oh, it's so silly, we managed to get lost. And then you start, like, you're like, okay, we're actually really lost, and we were supposed to be doing a job. And you start, like, kind of being a bit panicky, and then it progresses to anger. And you really, 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 really feel like the only way to get out of here is to break the mirrors. And you are, like, basically compelled to do so. So, what do you do to break the mirrors?
How angry are they?
It's up to you. It may just be, like, irritation, but the main thing is you want to be naughty. You want to break the mirrors.
Gregory is questioning why he's feeling like that, because he's usually the definition of calm, not necessarily out of choice.
I mean, again, like, you can make an insight roll.
Okay, let me... What's my insight? That's the question. Oh, that's what...
I'm just wondering, could I make a survival check to figure out how to get out?
No, that was what the intelligence check was for,
Oh,
I'm
I get
afraid.
it.
But that's a fair question. With a 14, you get the feeling like your anger or irritation is getting in the way of being able to think very logically. But again, as with when Dom was talking to you, you are cognizant of the fact that something is influencing you, but it's really impossible to fight against.
So like the various mirrors, like, are they individual mirrors set up, or are they like walls of mirrors that are in the like fixed in place?
Yeah, it's walls of mirrors, basically. They're in zigzags and they bend all over the place, and especially with the distortion effect, it's really difficult to tell where you are.
All right. You know what? Fran might have gotten here even without outside influence, so she's just like, all right, I'm not having fun anymore, and she pulls out her hammer.
Yay!
Gregory is like trying to stop her, but then again he won't touch her. So he's like, my lady, I do not think this is a good idea. I understand your emotions, but maybe we should think this through.
While he's doing that, in the background, you just see Kita charge head first at a mirror.
Oh my goodness! I mean, sure, like, okay, so Fran, make me a hammer attack, and Kita, make me an unarmed attack on the mirror, I guess? Oh boy.
Do I add my proficiency to that?
Yeah. You know what, I'm actually hesitating on making you roll to hit, because, like, they're mirrors, dude. Like, just roll for damage, actually. Just do that.
And since you're making an unarmed strike, I think it's just, like, 1 damage.
Yeah.
I have negative strength.
Oh boy, this may hurt you more than it hurts it.
I have a question. While they do that, can I try to cast Find Traps?
Cast what? Sorry, I missed that.
Find Traps. I can post
sure.
the description here.
Yeah, if you do that, like, do you just cast that and...
It's instantaneous, verbal somatic. You sense the presence of any trap within range that is within line of sight. A trap of purpose. The purpose of this spell includes anything that would inflict a sudden or unexpected effect you consider harmful or undesirable, which was specifically intended as such by its creator. Thus, the spell would sense an area affected by the alarm spell, a glyph of warding, yada yada yada. This spell merely reveals that the trap is present.
Okay.
Do I have to roll? It doesn't have anything to roll, but should I roll like?
No,
to
it's
fight
all right.
my will or
I'll say
something?
that. I'll say that while this chaos is unfolding, and again, like, yeah, you two just go ahead and roll your damage while I'm doing this because this is going to be hilarious. Because as this double attack on either side of you happens, you know, you're basically doing this to try and stop yourself from attacking the mirrors. Oh my goodness, that's a 0. Oh, Kita.
Oh, funny.
Kita just runs.
Oh no!
Kita does the cat thing and runs headfirst into a mirror and bounces off it and looks like kind of dazed for a moment. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to make you take. Let's do just like 1d4. That's not supposed to be that. It's Oh no, it is. It is 1d4. Oh dear, you take the full 4 damage. I'm terribly sorry about that, Kita.
that is fine.
You land on your butt and you take 4 damage. That's like very insulting for you. While you're doing this.
Whether you're
Fugary, you've cast detect traps, and you can't detect any traps in the traditional sense. But in fact, the only place you can detect anything coming from is the doorway, and it's kind of got this, it's got a vibe. Like the guy said who hired you, it has a strange vibe, and you think that as soon as you walked through that, something was starting to affect you, like from the second you entered this place. Fran, you do 7 damage to a mirror. 7 is a lucky number. Guess what happens when you hit a mirror with a lucky number? All of them break in sequence. It's like dominoes. The one in front of you goes, the one next to it goes, and then it's like... And it's glorious, and yet you get backlash from this because they are mirrors made of glass. So you're going to take 2d4 of damage, which is 7. It's the number of the game, apparently. And it's appropriate too, considering that you also now have a bad luck point. That's going to come in at some point.
Oh no!
And Fred just sort of like she's looking, a little cut up, but she doesn't really seem to care. She just like very proudly puffs her chest out and is like, "Found the way out."
And you certainly did. You can easily get out of this place. Sorry, Sharu, you were saying something.
Gregory, noticing them both do something so irresponsible, something so dangerous, he immediately panics. His flames are rising up. You can see that he's barely keeping it together, but he runs up first to Kita because children first. And he asks, "Are you okay, little one? Do you need tending woods?" And he can make a medicine check, or does it not qualify as healing?
Well, they both took some damage, so you can easily see that they've been slightly injured. Kita is just blunt force damage. Fran is more obviously cut by the glass.
They have a bruise on their face.
He to cheer the kid up because that hurt. Gregory will he will pull out something from his pocket and cast Druidcraft. And there's just this bush of beautiful orange flowers growing out of his fingers and twirling around. They look like tiny flames, but they do not burn.
Oh, that's so cute.
They have that little glow, and he just looks at Kita with... He doesn't have a mouth, but so the only way he can convey a smile is from his eyes. But he tries to say it's all right, and he gestures for the cat to take the flowers if they want. And
they're going to take a couple of flowers.
Oh, Figure, take an inspiration point. That scene was adorable, and because you were rallying against the naughty influence of this place, I'm actually going to say that you don't get a mark in the extra box that I have added to all of you. So we're going to move on. So you get out of the House of Mirrors having had a smashing time, and now you have 3 more places, but really it's like 2 more rides, as it were. There is a roller coaster and the merry-go-round.
Um, my lady, are you alright? He looks to Fran like he sees the few cats. Do you need tending? I can offer you something if it's needed.
Oh, I've had worse. Thanks though, bud.
Um, I
She
understand, but
does she does not seem particularly concerned, even though she is, she definitely has some cuts.
um, I understand, but if you ever need tending, just please come over to me. I shall
Aw.
offer my services.
Aw, you're a sweetheart. She like almost pats him on the back, but then remembers and withstands.
You can feel that aura of heat. You know how you're near a fireplace and you feel the heat? That's how it's called.
Oh.
So
Aw.
that should be why you back your hand. He notices that and like it's almost on instinct. He isn't even aware of it. He steps back and then he's like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do it.
Hey, buddy, real quick. Don't apologize for being you. You can't you don't worry about it. Good.
While they're doing this, can I look for the cat again?
Of course you
Please.
can. Yeah, again, like perception, investigation, and all of you can do these at any point. You just have to say.
Uh, well, Kita's looking for the cat. Fran is actually, now that they're out, she does realize that what she did probably wasn't the smartest thing. So she's looking to see if anyone else has actually noticed the, entire attraction full of broken glass that she's left behind her.
Mm-hmm.
Gregory is seriously considering going back there and mending it all. He knows he's on a mission, so he will do that at least later when they end their investigation. He's ready to pay for the damage,
Okay.
even though he's broke.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
baby.
We'll see if we ever get there. Kita with a 19, you manage to use your cute little nose and go, and you can smell that singed fur smell, which is oh so nasty, and it seems to be trailing away in the direction of the roller coaster. Woo! Hey, Fran, that's a 21 with a net 20. Oh boy!
And
Yeah, you walk outside, the sort of thrill of having succeeded slightly wearing off, and you are met with a sort of cold wave of stares because there were not only people outside who noticed what happened, there were people inside. There were other people in the maze that you were in, and there are people with like comical pieces of glass stuck in their hair and their clothes. Fortunately, nobody seems to have been injured, but they all look very unhappy. And two fairly faceless goons come and tape up the front of the House of Mirrors, and there's this sort of ah from the crowd, and you get a boo from right at the back.
and Fred's like, "Hey, looks like our job's going good."
I wouldn't
Sorry,
call it that.
you're gonna have to
but-
remind me what the 21 you've just rolled for was, because you've succeeded whatever you were doing.
I thought it was perception for looking for the cat. I got confused. Sorry, nothing.
It's okay. Well, anyway, yeah, you definitely know where the cat went. In fact, there's little paw prints. It's kind of muddy, like the fun fair, just open ground. That's like what all these tents are like posted on. And yeah, there's little paw prints leading off to the roller coaster, which looks like a scream. It really does. It looks like a really good roller coaster. There's a massive drop right at the start, and then loads of loops and a corkscrew. And you see a hat floating down from someone who's lost it at the top of the ride. Looks really fun.
Can I just say that Gregory comes up to Kita and asks, "Would you like to go there, little one?" Also, have we introduced ourselves?
Oh,
Our
that's a good
characters,
question.
have they actually changed names, or is it like the heist again?
I assume like we did have a boat ride over. We probably at least exchanged names during that time.
All right, just wanted to make sure. Still, Gregory will come up to Kita, kneel down because he's very tall in comparison, and ask, "Would you like to go, the little one?"
They're going to look at it, and you see their eyes following a card. Goes, "Oh, it doesn't look fine," and oh God,
Mm-hmm.
as the color drains from their face.
You know what? It's that we don't gotta push it. I'm sure there's other stuff we can destroy here.
I wouldn't be able to attend that, but so it doesn't matter to me. But if you do not want it, I will follow you.
Fran, because you cheesed off the crowd and like they are still kind of glaring at you, they all hear this like conversation and someone says, they're too chicken. Boo! Spoil sport and a chicken. Boo!
And Fran just sort of looks at everyone and it's like, Scrub Lord, come at me, I'm ripped.
If you didn't have inspiration already, I'd give you it again. That was so good. Yeah, there's a sort of
Gregory
rebellious...
is having a silent panic attack because why would she say that?
She does not take kindly to people calling her chicken.
There's a sort of...
You want to call me chicken? Come at me, bro.
Yeah, there's a sort of grumbling mutter from the crowd, like, you know, whoever actually said that has definitely backed away. And there's one guy who, like, says, "My mom's a chicken! You leave him out of it!" And then, like, basically the crowd dissolves because, like, they've lost the point.
Also, Gregory will also be, sir, with all due respect, I was raised by chickens. Please do not insult them. Please do not insult my family. They have cared for me better than anyone.
Can I just
You
check
hear
the
Keita
deck
take
box?
it.
Because why would he go starting talking about himself? That's impolite. So he will stay silent for the next 2 minutes.
Oh. Neko, what was that roll for? You rolled a 9, whatever it was for.
Keita's going to take a deep breath and begin stomping off towards the roller coaster.
Oh!
Because that was to see if they were able to resist the insult.
I love you for doing that. You take inspiration. Okay, yeah, you have your child friend who is stomping off towards the roller coaster. Are you two going to accompany?
Miss Fran, I think we should follow. He's walking.
Fran definitely doesn't want to lose track of the kiddo in the crowd, so she will water after.
I mean, if they got lost, they have a really nice beacon to follow to find each other again.
Yep, you blaze a trail. You blaze a trail to the roller coaster, and you go to the line, and it does seem to be moving pretty quickly. But while you're going through it, you do have to go past one of these signs that says you must be this tall to ride on the roller coaster. Keita, you barely are underneath the mark. However, the person who's running the ride sees this, looks at the sign, elbows it really hard so it jolts, and the little stick that sticks out judders down, and then you're taller than it, and they're like, "Hey, Frank, come on, get in." And you are on the cart for the roller coaster, and the bars come down over you all. Fran, it gets a little bit stuck, but it goes down, and so you are in the roller coaster. I now need you all to make either a charisma or a constitution saving throw.
Oh, I know which one Fran's better at.
Also, this is very important. Which cart is he sitting in?
That's
if it's the back, then it's okay. But this.
Oh, come on!
And you've got a +5 to
Okay,
that too. Gregory is
making either because my bonus is the same.
You know what? I'm gonna roll a d4 because there are 4 carts to each coaster thingy. You're in the second cart. Okay, so for the audio, Keita rolled a 17, Fran rolled a 9. Very sorry, and Fugary rolled a 21. So This is interesting. Fortunately, figure you're tall enough that your flames don't seem to impact on whoever's behind you too badly. Although there's a little bit of sort of anxiousness from the people immediately behind you. And actually, can I ask specifically what you guys rolled, Kita and Figure?
I rolled Constitution.
I mean, for me it's either, so let's just say it was, I don't know, charisma.
Interesting.
I want to go Constitution because again, it's +2 for either.
Okay, so as the roller coaster goes up and up and up and up and up and up, and it's a long way up. You're like almost at the height of where the Inkwell Park on the cliff is. It's that tall. What? You probably couldn't see this from there because the rails are so thin and it was getting a bit gloomy. But yeah, you had no idea how tall this was until you got on it. In terms of like succeeding a charisma, you have enough self-confidence. In terms of constitution, you managed to withstand the G-force. Fran, you do neither! You're like, oh boy! And as you take that first big dip, your sunglasses go sailing off your face, and you find this rather alarming, which is surprising considering who you are. And again, maybe something is affecting you slightly. So, basically, how do you guys react to this roller coaster? Which is like, just imagine the biggest roller coaster you've ever been on ×2.
Gregory has seen scarier things than a high cliff. So he isn't really scared. He's more scared of the passengers behind, about the passengers behind him. So he's like, patting out his flames with both his hands and being like, please don't burn them, please don't burn them. Like in his mind, of course, he doesn't say that, but he's panicking again. But he is admiring the view, however blurry it is.
Kita begins screaming at the top of their lungs. And for some reason, their coat has almost doubled in size. Like all the fur is just puffing out.
Fran, she is definitely unnerved by this, but she's aware that this is the point of a roller coaster. So she does her best to turn her shriek into like the actual like, put your arms up in the air, we're on the roller coaster, this is fine, everything's fine.
Can Gregory make a perception check, seeing as he's not panicking and he thinks maybe this is a good scouting point, seeing how to hide it?
That is an excellent idea. You may do so.
Alright, wait a moment. What's my perception? +4. Okay. 1 moment. Let's see what he sees. Ooh.
Oh, gosh. Is that the 18 is yours? Sorry, I was in the wrong channel for half a second. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, with an 18, especially when you get to the slow points, when it goes up onto a crest and before it goes down, like when the world is not just a blur of lights and screams. You get a really good view, like top down, of this entire park. And interestingly, the dock that you arrived in is not the only dock. On the other side of the island, this perfectly spherical sphere. I'm trying to use the word for circle, and I keep coming up with sphere. Blah. On the other side, behind this very tall wall, you can see other docks, like bigger docks than the one you arrived at, and there appear to be boats, and you see some sort of cargo crates, but that's all you can see before you're down again on the roller coaster, going screaming off to the end of the ride. So yeah, okay, and the ride ends. None of you die. Kita, you feel yourself sort of rise up sometimes, like perhaps further than is safe because of the guy who kicked the "you must be this tall" sign. So even though like constitutionally you survive, it was pretty scary for you because it didn't feel safe at all. Fran, because you did like not so good with that saving throw. Even though you tried to pass it off inside yourself, you know that you're kind of disappointed and a bit grumpy about the fact, like, you didn't enjoy it genuinely enough, like you felt like you had to cover for the fact that it took you by surprise. So again, you feel a bit more like being naughty. Anyway, the last things that are available, aside from like, you can just walk around this park and have a look. But there is the merry-go-round and this kind of bar with this giant 8-ball sat on top of it.
Fran wants again to look at the crowd this time because she's noticed this place sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything they've done so far has made her feel like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And why is this place so popular? So like, what is the vibe of the crowd?
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Roll perception or insight. I don't actually know which that would be.
As Fran is doing this, Kita is just clinging onto her leg for dear life.
Oh baby.
Actually, combined with running full force into a mirror, you get an inspiration point too. We're just giving them out today.
I have 2 now. Yay!
I just, Gregory is like, he's kneeling down to Kita. He really wants to at least put his hands on their shoulder, be like, it's all right, it's over. But he doesn't because he's too scared of burning them. So he's just like in this awkward space in between the actions.
Aww.
He also, when they finish it, he will try to whisper to them with safe distance, of course, what he noticed. That, listen, I do not know what that means yet, but I saw more dogs while we were on the coaster. And doesn't it seem strange that there are 2 entrances here? Even the cargo was for like for food and similar things have been brought in the front. Could it be that? He's thinking really hard about it, but doesn't know what that means. Mm-hmm. That worries him.
Uni, before I move on, like, what was the 13 for? Was that insight or perception?
Both are the same, so let's say insight.
Okay. In terms of like getting a read off the crowd, again, like you're kind of a bit shaken up from the roller coaster and the House of Mirrors still, so you don't get as clear of a feel than you might have otherwise. And yet, you do get this sort of odd mixed feeling. Some people seem to be genuinely having a good time. These people seem to look a kind of particular type of person. They seem a bit mean somehow. And a lot of them, not to be prejudiced, but a lot of them are monkeys or hyenas, coyotes, weasels, that kind of thing. A lot of them are Warner kind. And, the rest of the people do seem to look a bit sour. They look a little less like they're having a good time. And yet they have this odd determination. Like they've come here, they're gonna have a good time, damn it all. And they're gonna stay until they do. So that's what
they take and go. They have to have fun.
Yeah. So Fran, as you've stated, she is feeling naughty, and Fueguri has brought up an interesting point. She goes, "Yeah, you know what? You're right. Let's go investigate." It's like let's go sneak behind the scenes because she is not feeling these rides, and she's not feel like playing the normal games.
Gregory just is very nervous because sneaking is not something you do when you're at light source at night. So he will very politely advise against it, but then again he will not force them to abandon it because that's impolite. And also secretly he really also wants to know what's happening because this place, as mentioned, gives off a very weird vibe. Mm-hmm. So he wants to know what's happening.
Kita, how about you? Are you just clinging to Fran's leg continuously?
Yes, but at this point, they have regained most of their mental functions. Mm-hmm. So they're just going to pipe up. I have something for hiding. Hmm? If you want me to cast it, I have something to help with hiding.
Something to help with hiding, yes?
Yes.
Okay, Gregory, seeing how they're planning to sneak, he actually gestures them to go a little in a quieter place where the crowd is not as big. So they are not overheard because this is supposed to be sneaking missions, so maybe they shouldn't be discovered.
Yeah, Fran scoops up Kita again because, again, they are small. It is a big crowd, and now they're shaken up. So that best to the kid on hand.
So, how do you, my lady, little one? I wouldn't be the perfect. I wouldn't be a good choice for the city mission, but I may provide some. And he is gonna cast enhance ability on the one they decide is going to be the sneaking one. Who has higher dexterity or stealth?
My stealth is +6, and I can get that up to 16.
Yeah, Fran actually has perpetual disadvantage on stealth. So
it was hilarious to me with this mission that you were put on that I suddenly realized like two of you the most unstealthy things in the world.
Oh no, Kita has scale mail on, so that's loud, but they can get incredibly high stealth.
Alright,
actually,
so,
before we do any sneaking, I have to ask you, where are you sneaking? Where are you being sneaky?
Well, we or Fweggery saw the docks in back, and that seems like the place to do some investigating. And Fran, she doesn't like the idea of sending the kiddo off on their own, but also, like, if they get caught, there's the built-in excuse of, oh, I'm a tiny baby child who got lost.
That's a good excuse.
I have to ask, can I make a perception check to check if there are any pigeons or other animals?
Pigeons or other
like,
animals?
If I see one.
Interestingly.
You're looking for an animal in Pacific?
Like, let's say pigeons or other birds that would be at the dock.
Okay, yeah. I would actually just advise you all at this point to make a perception check, because regardless of sneaking ability, you have to find a way to get to this other dock.
Good point.
Oh, 23. I think you found it, mate.
All right. Well, Kita's good at it.
Yeah. The other two...
Fran's rolls have been garbage.
I'm really sorry about that. They really have. Dice parser, be nice. Anyway, okay, so yeah, you two look around, but you really just you can't see where the other exit is. As far as you can tell, there's just this damn big wall that surrounds everything, which, again, health and safety violations. But yeah, you can't spot it. Kita, because you're small, you're like closer to the ground, and you're also looking in like places that kids would, which aren't the places that grown-ups look, because grown-ups are stupid. You see like loose planks, and there's like a tiny board angle, and you think you can like figure out how to wriggle your head through, and you manage to find not exactly the exit. You suspect, with a 23, you suspect that there is a secret way to open a secret exit from this place, but you can't find that. You've managed to find a break in the wall, however, and you can stick your head out. And you see the same thing that the other two did, who can't stick their head through because they're too big and one of them is on fire. But you see this other dock, which is bigger and has these large sort of flat bark type boats that are waiting, and there are crates. Some of them seem to have something inside them. They're like rocking about and making some kind of weird noise. You have no idea what that's about. Because unfortunately, even with the 23, it's kind of too far away. You'd have to like get through, but you think you probably might get stuck unless you want to persist with something else that you can do. But from where you are, you have located the other dock. There are cargo crates, some of which have occupants. Something is moving in them, and the people who are tending these barks, these boats, again, a lot of them are hyenas or monkeys.
Fran, Kita's gonna walk over to Fran, examine her like, yes, very strong indeed. Going to grab her sleeve and attempt to drag her over to the loose plank.
Need me to take care of this kiddo?
I found something. You guys won't fit though.
Gregory will come over and he will produce flame to he just takes off his glove and his hand is also fire, so he just takes his hand out and illuminates the place so they can inspect it better.
Okay, I want you to make me a stealth roll to see if anybody notices this.
Oh, what is my stealth? That is the question.
It's
just straight D20. Great.
20, a nat 20. No one notices.
Whoa.
In fact, you've done it at the perfect moment because there are suddenly like an array of bonfires and fireworks going off. You think like it's getting close to whatever the grand finale this place has at midnight, and yeah, no one pays you a blind bit of notice.
All right. Fran will use her big cool muscles to pull back a loose board for Kita.
Very nice. Make a strength check.
Can Kita help them?
Yeah, you can have advantage if Kita's helping.
Okay. Let's see.
They're proficient in it, but they have negative.
It's the spirit of the thing that counts. Oh,
hey,
my goodness.
that's good.
A dirty 20, that'll do it. You have a bit of trouble, like you feel like the board starting to pull back and you think your fingers are going to get stuck in it, but then you see Kita and you're just inspired because this kid is so cute and they did finding the thing and that's good! And yeah, you overcome it and rip! You get this entire board off. And yeah, you get the feeling that this place was made recently by magic because it's not a natural rock formation. It's very smooth, and it's kind of shitty.
Fran is of the opinion that this place is like a ship of some sort because islands don't just show up.
Well, yeah, unfortunately I will have to deny that because it is rock. It is made out of earth, whatever this construct is. But yeah, it's not very well made, and you can see like there's this big crack in the wall, and yeah, a small person could easily fit through it, and now you can all see the same thing that Kita did.
Cool. At that point,
Fran, you know, she works and lives on ships. Like that's her thing. Can she get a look at this setup that they've got over here now that she has a view of it?
Yeah, I mean, again, you with Kita's 23, like you aren't actually going to see much more than they did, but I will say that you just automatically get the same because you have a range of expertise in these ships. They are flat ships that are specifically made for transporting cargo, not like huge amounts of cargo, but like you feel like these are sort of livestock boats.
Livestock boats on a fair island feels like a weird mismatch.
well, I didn't know they had a petting zoo. Do you think they have I don't know what the petting zoo is.
Well, one way to find out.
That is the question.
Okay, at that point, Kita is going to pull into their coat. They reach into their coat and pull out a broken light bulb on a string. And they're going to cast Pass Without a Trace. And as they do, it flickers weakly before shutting off.
Okay.
Tyler is worried that the kid is carrying broken glass on his neck.
That's fair. Yeah, remind me what, for the benefit of the tape, what Pass Without a Trace does.
Okay, so let me just pull it up. It is it's an hour-long concentration spell, and for that hour, any creature within 30 feet of the caster have a +10 to any stealth checks they make. They leave behind no tracks or traces, and they cannot be tracked through any means but magical.
Yep. It's like the best thing to have for sneaking.
Yeah.
The bad thing is that we won't fit for that hole.
The good thing is, though, that you have that spell's effect for an hour, so even if you two can't go through this hole, there may be other places that, you want to use this.
Yeah,
it's true.
So you notice that when Kita casts it, really all the light seems to drain from you guys and go into the light bulb.
That must look very interesting with Gregory.
Yeah, with
He's a,
Gregory in
he's a
particular.
silhouette. He's a
He
silhouette.
grabs his head because, guess what? Flames towards children. Oh no. He tries to put it out, but he notices that it doesn't burn the child, and he's kind of weirded out with the light, but his flames just regenerate in a few seconds. He's an endless fire source, so it doesn't bother him that much. He's scared that the kid has something like that.
Yeah, so now that
What is this young one? He inspects the light bulb.
they noticeably begin looking everywhere but him.
We can worry about that later, kid. You've know what you're up to, right? You know what you gotta check out?
Check out the boats, the crates, and see if they have a petting zoo.
Yeah, and if anyone looks at you weird, just tell them you got separated, and you're a kid, so they won't
Okay.
freak out. Or if
And-
anyone tries to give you trouble, just start screaming, and I'll break the fence down, and we'll be good.
With that, Kita is now going to try and squeeze through the gap.
Okay, I'm gonna say you're small enough, so that's not an issue. However, you know, you will still have to make a sneak roll to get up to, you know, these crates.
Oh, yeah.
So go ahead and do that.
And I am rolling with disadvantage, but I just have really high.
Yeah, plus 16.
Okay.
Cool, that is a 17 plus 16
Yeah.
for a total 33.
Wow. That's definitely a pass. You know, you just by the skin of your teeth, you managed to not be detected by anybody because nobody can see you at all, and no one can hear you because you're very small and quiet.
Is that a point where like they just walk through the middle,
Yeah.
like not even bother trying to hide?
Yeah, you like clip through them, like the physics detection isn't so good on this piece of animation, you just go straight through. Yeah, you get right up to these crates, and in fact, you know, that was so good, I'm not even gonna make you roll investigation, because we all know where this is going, guys, don't we? And you get up to these crates, and that strange noise and rocking that you could hear and see distantly before, you definitely recognize, and there are donkeys inside of these crates, and one of them says, "Let me out!" And then the person who's looking after the crate hits it on the side and says, "Shut up."
Can we wait for a moment? I have to restart Discord because something happened. Just give me a second.
That's fine.
Sure.
That's fine.
dear.
Well, this works because, yeah, we're going to stay with Kita for a little bit. Fran, you're just, like, hanging back there, but I'm going to suggest you make a perception
Alright.
check just to see if, like, anybody's around.
Okay. Perception.
Also, in 15 minutes, we're going to, like, have a 5-minute halftime break anyway, so don't worry about it.
Oh, that's fine.
Alright.
Oh, please.
A 17!
Okay.
You had a decent roll! Phew!
Do I
Yeah.
have to roll perception?
No, it's alright,
One
Fran's
moment.
got you. With the 17, you hear footsteps approaching you, and they're kind of heavy footsteps. Fran and Figuri, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Right. Gregory will take another, just a bunch of seeds out of his pocket, throw them before the hole, and grow a bush to cover it. I have to roll I have to roll for it, like how convincing it grows.
Yeah, do that. Like, let's see how pretty your bush is and how convincing it is that it would be there. I love that.
Perception or nature? That's the question.
I'm gonna go with nature, because we almost never get to use that.
No,
Oh yes. So
that's the skill
that's
never
another-
used.
I just have a lot of +4.
8. It's not great. Like, it's kind of shitty, and the main thing that is the problem with this bush is there are no other bushes inside this theme park. There are no plants.
He pulled out the wrong kind of flowers, and he's also panicking. So, guess what? Gardening takes a lot of energy and time and patience.
It does.
You didn't have that.
Is there a garbage can nearby?
There absolutely is.
No, I just imagine Fran in front of the hole.
Fran is sort of like she moves in front of it, like in a way that will hopefully block out this weird shoddy bush, and just like heaves into it because
Yes.
just like, you know what, still feeling sick from that roller coaster.
Yeah, that's really good. I want both of you to make a stealth check anyway to see how bad your hiding job is with these two objects.
You do still have plus
cool,
10.
cool.
Yeah, you have a +10 to this, so, you know, you'll have to do pretty badly.
That's a
So
23.
I rolled with all the +10, so just it's 23.
Yeah, you both
And that's-
pass. You both pass. That's
I mean, I have to take it with disadvantage, so
oh, you do.
yeah.
That's
So 16.
16.
Oh,
You get into this trash can and it sort of buckles outwards. It was not made for a large, buff toon such as yourself to get inside. And just to add insult to injury, you end up with some popcorn like stuck in your hair.
You know what? This is not like she's already, you know, yarfing into the garbage can. This is not the most humiliating thing about it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so that all works? ? And these sets of footsteps stop. There's two sets of footsteps. One of them is like really heavy, and one of them is oddly clanky. Like one of them sounds like a foot in a boot, and then it goes clunk, clunk, clunk. Like they don't have both feet. And you realize, like, the place where you are is, in fact, directly behind that bar with the 8-ball sat on top of it. You hadn't really been paying attention because you were just looking for, like, how to get to this dock. But it's very interestingly directly behind this place. And, yeah, these two people have come out of the back. And one of them is a large toon man, but, like, looks kinda like... yeah, he's a human-esque Toonkind with a very unpleasant face, very round and sort of a wicked gleam, and again does the hand rubbing thing that Honest Dom was doing, but this guy feels much more villainous, to use a word that would summarize. And the other person is a robotic fox. It appears to be some sort of warforged, but it has a patch eye and one leg with a peg leg, which is made out of metal, and a hook for a hand. And they're having a conversation which seems to be continued from what they were talking about inside. And they say, "Yeah, well, the boss will surely be pleased with you, matey. This here hall of cargo will be a boon, to be sure." "Well, think nothing of it, Mr. Dead. My pleasure. And more so, my patrons." "No, just about those that payment that you mentioned. Please, just call me Noxum, and don't ye be worrying. The Yakuza are happy and grateful to ye, and you'll be getting what's coming to ye soon. The boss never misses a chance to pay a person back in full. Yar! He better, or my boss will be paying him a little visit. And he doesn't have such a good sense of humour as I do, see?" And they exchange a very sort of mwahaha kind of a handshake, and it's the villainous looking toon looks like he winces slightly because he's forgotten that he's shaking a hook for a hand. And this peg-legged animatronic fox goes stomping off, and from that exchange you can figure out that he was called Noxum Dead. And there is some group of people called the Yakuza involved with this fox. And, you know, Kita, you would be interested to see this from where you are, but also the two who are on this side would be able to confirm your suspicions that there is a hidden gateway to get out to the docks as the fox presses a very, you know, non-specific looking piece of wall, and it glows with a bluish sheen while this rune activates, and part of it just slides open and he walks through, and it slides shut after him. And that's the current situation.
Is it Kita's turn, or can I try something?
You can try something.
Gregory, as a traveler, he travels a lot. Can I make a history check to try to remember if I know anything about the Hyakuza?
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, Kita, you're too far away to have heard that exchange, even though you see this fox walking towards you. But Fran, you can also make a history check if you want to.
Yeah, all right. Oh, she's actually got pretty good in that
20.
area.
Straight 20.
Oh, come on!
Damn it!
Man, Dice Passer really doesn't like you today. It's because you're feeling so
That is a
noidy.
nat 1.
Because you're feeling so noidy.
The dice
And,
gods are not amused.
yeah, and you're distracted from yatzing into this really gross-smelling trash can. Like, you're starting to think this was a bad idea, Fran. But yeah, Fury, you with a 20, you have absolutely heard of the Hyakuza. And they're a mob, basically, and they have existed for quite a long time. There was a dip in activity about a year ago, and no one's really sure why, but there was rumours that the old boss died, but it was never confirmed because, again, these guys are kind of an underground thing. They have a reputation for being they're kind of opposites. Oxymoronical mobsters. So they have a sense of humour, a very toony sense of humour, and they typically seem to go in for hiring people who are hyenas and monkeys. Because they like a good giggle, but they can also be pretty nasty. And yeah, while they started off kind of being a joke mob, they became more serious and would actually do pretty nasty things, like going after people's families to settle debts and stuff like that, which wasn't all that funny. And although they had a dip in activity about a year ago, they've come back full force, and they are much nastier than they used to be.
Oh no. Gregory, he leans a little towards Fran, but not the girls, of course, and he says, "We have to get Kida. We have to get little Kida, and we should leave. This place is full of monsters."
On that very good note, Kita, you're going to have to make another stealth check, because guess who's coming exactly in your direction but knocks him dead? With a 30, he has absolutely no idea that there is anybody here who shouldn't be.
But no, it's a... What's that? 23. So
23. That's still much. That's he doesn't notice you, and he seems to be more occupied with talking. He's got his remaining paw to his ear, and he seems to be using a stone of spar speech. Whoa, that one's good. A stone of far speech to talk to somebody. But he is actually talking quietly enough, and especially with his stutter, it's actually really hard to say what he's saying to whoever is on the other end. But he walks straight past you and gets onto one of these barks and just says, "Start loading them up, we'll be having more soon, me hearties, arr!" And everybody around sort of obligatorily goes, "Arr!" in a slightly unenthusiastic way.
They're like, "Oh, we're stuck doing this pirate thing."
Yeah.
How many crates appear to have something in them?
About half of them, it's not all of them. There's quite a lot of them that appear to be waiting. They're not setting off. They're starting to load up the ones that have, stuff in the containers, but there doesn't seem to be any activity. And again, we're coming towards midnight.
Okay, then Kita is going to go towards one of the crates, and because they are a ranger, and they can transfer basic ideas to them.
Mm-hmm.
Going to basically go, stay still until the chaos begins, and they're going to try and unlock the crate.
Okay. You hear the crate settle down, it had sounded like something was kicking against the inside of it. It stops doing that. And yeah, there is a big old padlock with chains wrapped around it because this particular box was being very rowdy. Go ahead, try and pick that lock.
Okay then. I don't. I'm not proficient in tools, however, so I'm still
Oh.
at my deck.
I think that
see
would
how
just
this
be
goes.
then sleight of
Ooh,
hand.
you know what?
Okay.
21's gonna be okay. Yeah, it's not a complicated lock. It's just like big. It does sort of hit the floor with a clunk, but again, you're basically invisible in the dark. So even though a guard looks, he doesn't see what happened and just turns back. But one of the guards is a little bit like more on guard than he would otherwise be. So just keep note of that. You haven't opened the box yet. What are you gonna do?
Okay, so how does the box open?
It's pretty simple. It has a hinge and it's on top of the box.
Okay, so going to tell the donkey inside. The crate is unlocked when you're given the signal. Try and jump out the top.
You don't hear anything except a sort of scrape on the wall, like they have understood.
Cool. And then they're going to go for another crate
Okay,
and try and do the same.
I'm gonna ask you to do stealth and the lockpick for that one.
Sure. 2d20 plus 16. That is a 30.
Yep, that'll do. That sneaking is sufficient. The
Ooh,
9. A 9, it doesn't work. This lock seems to be kind of rusty, like they haven't taken care of it, and it gets stuck. And yeah, whatever's inside, because you didn't talk to this person, starts to panic, and the box starts rocking from side to side, and and it sounds really sad as well as panicked. Like the person or donkey inside this crate thinks that you're going to take it away, and this is like the end. On that note, we're gonna zip back to the other two. You still have this rather large, unpleasant Toon who's outside the back. He's lit a cigarette, which smells awful, and he's just leaning against the back door of this pool bar, smoking it. What are you doing?
So Fran is finally going to stop fucking pretending to barf into this garbage can because she kind of lost track of the act and now she actually feels kind of ill. So she's like, okay, remind me what we're doing. Okay. So we learned a thing. I mean, is that just like, do we just get the kid and go? Because I feel like, we figured out a thing. And that's what we're here for, right? We figured out the thing.
Gregory is, first of all, he's using druidcraft to get rid of that cigar smell because the smoke gets into his flame and it's extremely unpleasant. So he just uses druidcraft to cast like the smell of more natural, just nature, how forests smell. He makes that smell because it relaxes him and also it's not cigars. But then he snaps to action. Our first instinct should be to get to Kita and leave. But what about the other patrons? They don't know what's happening. This place, and we must act very, very carefully. This place is full of monsters. His speech is like breaking a little because he doesn't know how to act. He knows he should protect everyone, but how does he protect everyone without revealing the secret and getting in trouble? And also, Kita is still unaccounted for, and that worries me even more.
Fran just kind of leans in. She's like, "Listen, Hotshot, I appreciate concern. Yeah, this is bad business, but like, I'm not actually doing anything to people aside from weird mood stuff, right? So I think it's okay. We just gotta get the kid and get out of here. Because again, she doesn't know about the donkey stuff going on back there, so she is only working with what she's heard, and all she knows is shady business. That's fine.
In terms of
Why would they?
in terms of beautiful timing, I think this is the best possible one. So as soon as Fran, you stop saying that, you hear a clock from somewhere, and you think it's probably inside the pool bar. It sounds like one of those stuck to the wall type things, not like any grand, gigantic clock tower. Very unceremoniously ticking, and then goes bing, 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 and it chimes out the hour of midnight, and you see this rather infernal looking chap watching the time pass on his own stopwatch, his own pocket watch, and all hell breaks loose on the 12th stroke everywhere. And you didn't do a perception check when you'd made that insight check before to see like what the feeling was around this park. If you had, you might have noticed that there were fewer people in this park than you had noticed before, and the people remaining, had varying levels of like happiness or naughtiness to them. And you hear the braying of donkeys, you hear shattering windows, you hear hooves on the floor, and all of you bray. You all involuntarily make the loudest donkey sound you've ever heard, including you, Kita, even though you're right next to this box that's suddenly making a noise, and that guard who was already alerted, and even with your amazing silhouette stealth, they have noticed you. And Fran, you grow a pair of ears and a tail. Because you have 2 naughty points. Kita, you grow a pair of ears, but you don't get a tail, because you have 1 naughty point. Figaro, because you were somehow so restrained, and also because you're a fire, you don't grow any ears or a tail, but you still make this damn loud noise. And outside, Kita is spotted by the guards. Inside, you two are spotted by this large Toon, who actually turns to you as if he knew you were always there somehow. And his eyes change shape, and it's really unnerving. And he says, well, why have we here? And on that, we're going to take a 5-minute break, and then I'm going to ask you to roll for initiative. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. I just need to stretch my legs. Everybody do the same. Get a drink, scream a bit, you know. Okay, I'll see you in a bit.
Hee-haw, hee-haw.
Yee-haw.
I know the first thing I'm doing when we get back.
I just imagine Gregory's confusion at making that sound. Just, what the frick is happening? And this is just going great.
Yes, I'll be right back.
Also, this is like one time him being a fire was beneficial to him.
Yeah.
He was like that. Right, so you guys in the chat have any character questions? Like, would make it a thing?
I feel like Fran is just like she likes Gregory. He seems like a good dude. She wants to see if she can make him like some fire retardant gloves or something so that he can touch stuff without freaking out.
I mean, he has restricted gloves. I mentioned he has gloves, but it's more of a thing that he grew up without those gloves. Like, he only got them when he was adopted from his adoptive grandma.
Aww.
Before that, everything he touched burned, and it's more of a psychological thing. He can touch others. Me and Moss have made OCs. They made Worm, and Worm is one of the rare cases of people he isn't afraid to have contact with. He only like gives his hand to people he feels really trust him. So that's my character logic. he's just very scared of being around anywhere.
Oh, baby.
That's what being a flame does to you, I guess.
Also, hi, I'm back. I'm just sort of chilling here listening to you guys talk.
Yeah, Worm is basically a mix between an oven and a Kevlarson, and they are adorable. And my canon is Gregory and Worm have a shared garden, which they tend to both.
Aw, shared garden. That's cute. Wholesome content. Also, yeah, when you guys are ready to resume, just tell me. But I'm quite happy sitting here stretching for a while.
Let me.
I'm ready when others are ready.
Well, I'm ready.
Yeah? Uni, are you there?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're good.
I'm here.
We're good. Okay.
Ready.
In that case, let's roll initiative, everybody. Everybody loves this part of the game because we all sit being quiet and typing for like half an hour.
Oh no,
Oh, stop.
what's my initiative?
That's fine. Everything's fine. Ah,
Please,
Why?
would I roll my initiative?
What class
Just
is
a
Fran?
20 or something
Fran
else?
is a fighter.
It's initiative bonus is like your dex usually, but sometimes you
Yeah.
get a bonus. But it's
your
different.
dex, but I don't believe a druid adds anything else
No,
to
I
it.
don't think it does it?
I
Yeah.
mean, I have no dexterity, so just a 20, let's go.
Okay, so
How
at the
am I
moment we've got Kita, then Figure, then Fran. I now have to roll for my characters. So that's going to be interesting because you're both in different places. Also, because I had absolutely no idea where you guys were going to end up, case in point, you've split the party. There is no map. There is no map because I could not draw all of these locations because I had absolutely no idea where you were going to be.
That's not a problem.
So at the moment, what I'm rolling for is... Oh, interesting. Okay, so he's going to go after Fran because that's he hasn't got a plus anything. So this is Mr. Infernal. That's his name, by the way, is Mr. Infernal because I'm just so imaginative like that. And I also have to roll for the goons because you have aggroed the goons. Okay, that's 11.
Also,
Gosh, not
can
the
I
best rolls.
Is Gregory the one who is collected and first to attack when he's full of anxiety? That is my question. Also, this is gonna be fun because guess what? Gregory is a pacifist.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, that doesn't mean you can't be extremely helpful in the ensuing chaos. Like sometimes having a pacifist in a
course,
fight
I
is
don't-
the best.
Will be, but this is gonna be fun.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying. I need to work around that, and it's a fun time.
Okay, so at present, the order is Kita, Fuguri, then the goons, who I'm just going to do as a unit because that will save me a lot of time, and then it's Fran, and then it's Mr. Infernal. There may be other people who join. We'll find out. But let's just get straight in there. So, Kita, you're first.
So the goon has noticed me, correct?
Oh yeah, there's not just the goon. There are goons because you made such a loud noise, and yeah. So there is one who's very close to you, but there's a couple.
Kita's going to turn them and say, "I'm a lost child. I lost my mom."
That's great. I think this is either deception or performance. I'll let you pick which.
Doesn't matter because it's both a +2.
Okay, with a 21, the luck is on your
Let's see
side.
from the Shrek with different books.
Lady Luck is on your side because it's this really big sort of leery looking hyena guy, and he looks kind of brain dead as well, and he leans down and is about to do like that really ominous chuckle, and then you do this little sob story, and then him and his cronies sort of gather around and are like, I had a mum once. Oh, and they just think you're the cutest thing they've ever seen. Yeah, so they're not actually going to attack you. They are suspicious as to why you're there. But that's what happens. Is there anything else you want to do right now?
Okay, so that used up my action, correct?
I would say so.
Then, as a bonus action, they're going to shake a little bit, and all across their coat, eyes begin opening up, and you realize that's not a fur coat. They're covered in like 20 cats.
Ah! The
Jeez.
reaction to this could be eldritch horror or even more cute. I'm not actually sure. So again, I'm going to roll like a d20 to see like how they react to this.
Oh my
A
god.
1!
I love
None of
it.
them
Yes.
like cats. In fact, several of them are allergic. And this sympathy that you gain disperses, but it's in the best possible way because like half of them run away because they're like, ah! Oh no! It's terrible. This is absolutely horrifying. And the others are just kind of so shocked that they don't know how to react to this. So yeah, you have revealed the horde of cats. That's...
Yes, I'm gonna end my turn then.
Yeah, I mean, you can use movement, but that would invite opportunity attack. So it's up to you.
Yeah,
Okay, you're just gonna stay where you are.
I'm just gonna stay still for now.
That's hilarious. What a great way to open this fight. Figuri, what are you doing?
Right, so seeing as not only did he make a terrible noise, which he covers his mouth after, not only did Fran turn into a half donkey, which is very weird, or she is a lycanthrope, he doesn't judge, and now they're against a guy by the name of Inferno. Oh boy, this is gonna be bad. So what he does, he takes both his hands into his pockets, takes out like, I don't know, a bucket's worth of seeds of different types, throws them in front of it, and he will cast plant growth to make a wall of plants grow.
That's great. Are you casting this like in front of Fran as well, or just in front of yourself?
No, Fran is behind the wall. The wall is to separate us from danger,
Yep.
and also be able to go to Kita and aid them in any
Okay.
way, shape, or form.
Great.
Do you want a description or something? Or
You can. Is there anything you have to roll for it? I suspect not.
Oh, it's instantaneous, verbosomatic. If you cast this as an action, you choose a point within range. All normal plants become within 100 feet, become thickened and overgrown. And it takes 4 feet of movement to actually move 1 feet through it because it's difficult terrain. And I can exclude any area of my choice.
Great. Okay, that's great. Yeah,
So-
if you want to describe what kind of plant it is, that's fine.
It's just, imagine like a Fantasia segment, but it's plants rising, tangling together, making this beautiful, messy, chaotic wall of rainbow flowers, which only are illuminated better with his flames on one side, and just the overall light around. It's very pretty. If it wasn't the situation like that, he would perfect it even more. But at last, his gardening ambitions will have to wait. And then he runs up to Fran, simply screaming, "We have to run!" Excusing the pleasantries, and just in moment of is on instinct, he grabs her hand and drags her towards where Kita went into the hole to go help them.
Okay, I would suspect that would take up your entire turn. Okay, after this, we go cutting straight back, zip pan, back to Kita and the action, and the goons have just about recovered from what's happening. You got rid of half of them because they were, like, alarmed. However, some of them have gone to this ship where the fox disappeared onto, so you suspect they may come back with friends. Yeah, but the people remaining are going to try and grab you, so I'm going to ask you to make a dex save.
Yep. And am I proficient in that? Yes, I am. That is
21, easy. Yeah. How does this go? It's like there's a couple of hyenas and 1 or 2 monkeys, and they just try to grab you. How do they fail?
They
It's
met.
like It's like trying to pick up a cat that doesn't want to be picked up.
It's just pure liquid.
Liquid physics.
Yes.
And they're also kind of weirded out by this living cat mask that you're wearing. Like, they also are kind of like, half of them are making a pretense of trying to grab you, but they don't want to. They want to leave it to the other friends to do it, because this is weird, man. This is weird. Didn't sign
Like
up for
some of the
this.
cats in the coders, like
Yeah.
a swipe at their hands.
Imagine the collective hiss of 20 beasts.
Ooh, you wouldn't want to stick your hand in there. Let's be fair to these guys.
No.
And yeah, with that, and especially because they've divided and are trying to conquer, but like, yeah, that's all they're going to be able to do this turn. Fran, we are zip panning back to you. What's up?
So she just grew some ears and a tail, and then everything kind of became chaos, and she's like, all right, I don't get it, but it seems like we're not pretending anymore, so that's chill by her. And she will pick up the pace. How far are we from like docks where we know Kita went off to?
You're like just on the opposite side of the wall. The main problem is there is a very tall wall which is still made out of stone, even if it's hastily assembled. It does have a big crack in it, but yeah, you are separated by a wall, and there's a crack in it, but it's way too small for either of you to fit through.
How tall is the wall?
I'm gonna pull this out of my ass. It's like 2 stories.
Damn, how'd you fit it in there?
With difficulty.
All right. Fair enough. Let's see. Oh, Fran has got not a whole lot in the way of, explosive magic or whatever, because she doesn't have any magic or whatever.
Where's Dr.
She does have one thing, but I don't know. Yeah, it wouldn't be useful against a big thing of stone. So instead, what she's going to do is pull out her rope and grappling hook and make a throw at it to try and get over that wall.
Okay, I will say that it's fairly, again, it's not a great quality construction, so it is pitted, so there's every chance that it will get a hold in. I'm not sure how to do this. Like, I guess roll a d20 and we'll see how high it goes? Or is there a rule for these things? I've never done this before. A 6!
No! That's what happens when you climb with hooves.
I don't have hooves.
Yeah, that doesn't...
I didn't get that far, at least.
A 6 doesn't do it. I mean, like, I'll say, like, it grabs into the wall, but it only goes up a 1/6 of the way. So you can, like, hold yourself up that far, but it ain't gonna go much further. I'll say that was your
action. Can I... Oh, I have 2 actions per turn,
you
so...
do.
Okay, so that didn't work. She's gonna give up on that. What she does have instead that she's willing to do is she has a trident that she's gonna pull out and stab into the wall as sort of a climbing point to jump off of.
Yeah, you can do that.
Oh.
I don't think you need to roll to attack this wall. Like, it's right there, man. The thing is, like, okay, let's just say, because you're strong, you're a fighter, you're right next to this wall, you stick your trident into this wall. You've done that. What are you going to do with it now?
Well, according to how Toon rules work,
yes.
Now this is a spring action that can just go one.
Yeah.
Yes.
I accept wholeheartedly. I was so hoping you would go with that option. Again,
Absolutely.
I'm just gonna ask you to roll. Actually, no, this should be a physical roll, shouldn't it? I think this may be acrobatics actually, because you've got to balance on it and then catapult yourself.
Can I
Let's
suggest
see.
something before we roll?
Go on.
If you prepare the action, Gregory could assist you. Because he has enhanced ability.
Yeah, but it's not your turn. You'd have to cast that. I think you'd have to wait
Yeah.
to the next turn. It's up to Fran whether she wants to do it now or leave that prepared for next turn.
Yeah, I think for now she just wants to try and pull this off so they can get to the kid that they left alone in this shady mafia party.
Okay,
Uh,
a 16.
okay, not a terrible roll.
No,
for
not a
once.
terrible roll. In fact, it looks kind of cool. Like, rather than an absolute success, this is more interesting because you bounce off the end of it. It makes the most satisfying noise, and you go shooting up, and you windmill your arms at the top, and it looks like you're about to miss it. But bam! Your big meaty hand lands on top of the ledge of the top of the wall, and you are hanging there. And because you're so strong, you can pull yourself up. So you're now on top of the wall. Fuga is still at the bottom, and Kita is still on the other side of it. So that's an interesting situation to play with. Because now it's Mr. Infernal's turn. And he cracks his head to one side and then to the other and says, "Oh, you've been very naughty. I wholeheartedly approve." And he's going to attack the one remaining person, even though you're on the other side of these brambly plants that you've made grow up with the rainbow flowers, which is lovely. I wish I could see that. But here's the thing: this particular spell that he has doesn't need to go across difficult terrain. I need you to make a wisdom save, my friend.
Oh no.
Me?
Yep.
Oh, right. My wisdom save is alright.
Famous last words. Let's see how it
20.
looks. A 21.
Oh.
21 is good, and in fact this makes perfect sense because you didn't transform into a donkey or any part of a donkey apart from your voice, which was hilarious and degrading, but so when this magical carrot appears in front of your face and dangles to and fro looking very enticing for anything that is a donkey, you're just like, what? And he looks really disappointed and kind of grumpy and leans back inside.
Can I just say? Can I just say he pockets the car because plants?
Oh, yeah,
We'll
sure.
grow that.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Bugs Bunny that shit. So yeah, you get a carrot, and he looks incredibly upset about this. That this didn't work. Like, I mean, really upset. Like, unnecessarily angry. Like, what is happening to your face, my dude? You all know that piece of animation. Where did that come from? Oh, okay. And so as a result, what he does is he opens the door behind him back into the pool bar and yells at the stairs, "Hey! It's time for you to earn your keep!" And you hear big footsteps approaching, so there's someone coming from inside there as well. And we are going to go back to Kita. What's up, Kita?
Okay then. At the bonus action, they're going to cast Hunter's Mark on the group of goons.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I can cast that 3 times for free a day.
Mm-hmm.
And they're then going to pull out a crossbow
Yeah.
and shoot one in the foot.
Oh, ow. Okay, yeah, go ahead and do that. 12 ain't gonna do it, my friend. 12 ain't gonna do it. He does a nice little dance and, like, hops out of the way. This is one of the monkeys, so he's much more limber.
Is it worth using inspiration on this?
It's up to you.
I shall, just because I...
Okay.
It's gonna be amusing.
In fact, he dances out of the way. Unfortunately, the stone that your bolt pinged off makes the... Sorry, there's a lot of noise coming from you, Uni. Is there anything up with that?
Not that I know of.
That's strange. Oh, it stopped now. Never mind. Anyway, the crossbow bolt goes pinging off the floor and then goes pinging off a hook and then goes pinging off one of the locks on the crate and it goes back and hits him in the ass. So yeah, you definitely get this monkey but good, and it's hilarious, which I would say, with an inspiration point being used, means double damage.
Cool.
Ooh.
I'm just nice like that. Yeah. Okay, 22. This monkey does a flip, lands in the water, and you don't see him again.
Oh no.
As Kita fires, one of the cats just tackles for his face.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, so wait, is that like another action you're
Great
taking?
shark got to him and they never
No,
released him.
Okay, one of the D6s is from the swarm.
Oh, I get it.
So yeah, one D6 is the crossbow. The second is from the swarm, and the third is from the hunter's mark.
Oh gosh, right, that's how that works. Okay, yeah, you manage to humiliate this monkey. It gets a cat in the face, and then yeah, it's just KO'd and in the water. And the other goons look kind of like, oh, okay, this kid ain't so cute. Is that all you're doing for your turn? You're not gonna move
Yep.
or anything?
That's the way. Can I move? So I shot one close to me. Would I still get an attack of opportunity?
It depends, like, how much movement you're doing. Like, if you're going to turn around and run back to the wall, then I would say yes. If you're just, like, moving sideways, So
They're just going to scream out. They're going to scream out at the top of their lungs, "Diversion!" and sprint off to the side. And
You
they're
know what?
hoping that.
You know what? As a hangover from that inspiration and because that was funny, yeah, no attacks of opportunity. They all like are distracted by the distraction.
I'm hoping one of the donkey I freed is able to jump out. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, yeah. When would they do that? Well, okay, yeah. Let's stick them in after you. So, on the cue of distraction, the donkey takes its cue and bucks wildly, and the lid of this box goes flying off. And I'm just gonna roll a d20 to see if it hits any of them. A 4. No, unfortunately it doesn't. But it makes a bloody big noise, and they all like jump about a meter in the air. And yeah, the donkey is struggling to get out of the crate, unfortunately, because it is bigger than the donkey. And this person, who was not a donkey before, is not used to how a donkey works. So they are still in the box, but they did help you with this distraction. We go back to Figgery, who has just pocketed a carrot. What's going on with you?
Right. So seeing as Fran is already over the wall, and this is the only thing separating him from the kid he was supposed to protect, but failed, he kinda gets it into his head that the only thing that matters is to get over there. So he shall remove his gloves, revealing his fiery hands, and I shall use my point of inspiration to, with melting the stone, climb up the wall.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, you do that, and it looks incredible. Like, even like Mr. Infernal is impressed. Like, it looks like it's a really good piece of animation. You should see the follow through, the effects on those flames. It's just wonderful. And you know that's saying something because you're still a silhouette. Yeah, you totally do that. I would ask, is there anything else to do? But like, I think it would be spoken because that's like a whole action to get up there.
Yeah. Can I also say that he uses the same method to get down the wall? Because also have the. We also have to get down this wall, so. Or maybe not. I'll stay up the wall, on the wall, and.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like it takes an action to get up and down this wall because it's so big. So you managed to make it up, and you're next, Fran. Now I have to point out that the trident is still stuck in the wall where you left it, Fran. So
yeah, that's fine. She has like a billion weapons.
I know. You're a fighter. You
Gregory wishes he grabbed it and that he could bring it to her, but he wasn't thinking.
He might have built it, so it's probably just as
Trust me. Don't worry. She's got plenty.
Okay. So next
he doesn't know that.
Yeah, that's true. Next in the turn is the goons, and yeah, they just saw you decimate one of their mates, and are still kind of like shaken up by this weird cat thing you've got going. However, one of the hyenas has basically recovered and dislikes these cats enough to try and take a bite at you. So that's what they're going to do, and it's just a straight up d20 plus 3. 11 ain't gonna do it. They chomp and miss spectacularly, and kind of, you know, their eyeballs do the bouncy thing because they've shocked themselves by like biting air. And another one is gonna try and bonk you on the head. 2, absolute failure. Actually, that's a crit fail on their part. They hit the floor, and their wooden mallet bounces back and hits them in the face. They take 4 damage. It's humiliating and really funny. Again, like, these mobsters are Toonkind, and they are, like, inherently funny toons. So, again, there's this kind of weird thing that they would be doing something this weird, this ominous to people. But, yeah, that happens. That's 2 of them. The last one is going to, again, like, take a swipe because there were 3 of them. 21 is going to hit you. 21 is going to hit you, and this was another monkey, fortunately, and they aren't very strong. It is just going to hit you with this cartoonish wooden mallet. That's 3, that's like nothing to you, but you still take 3 damage. However, the other thing that is happening, because it is the turn of the goons, is that there is a raucous noise from on board the boat, and you suspect that the news of your arrival has arrived, and there are more people coming from the boat, so they are still going to like take an entire action to get to you. There's quite a lot of them! So good luck with that next turn. Fran, you're on top of a wall.
Cool. She is jumping down from the wall because she's a big meaty lady who's chill like that.
Okay, that's cool. Make a... is this constitutional strength to withstand the force of impact?
I really like Frederick was the corner because he could help her with that.
That's true. If you want to work together to get down from the wall, I will allow you to work together because you're
She will like.
I'll
be real.
rather...
She is like. I know Fuggery is all like, oh no, I'm on fire, I don't want to. She will pick him up and jump down.
I actually wanted him to stay up the wall because that's a good scouting point. If he will just... Also, I don't know if we should use that, but catching Fuggery causes fire damage. Should we roll that?
Okay, yeah. Splitting the party further is not a good idea, so...
I mean, that's a good scouting point, and he has some spells. That's his strategy. He will support. He is not that great in physical combat.
Yeah, it's still quite a distance. Anyway, basically, what I need you to now tell me is what's going on, because I can't tell who's staying where.
I'm sorry. Fran is willing to take the fire damage. She will pick him up and jump down.
Okay.
That will be just 1d4 fire damage.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You don't hold him for too long, so it's really small.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Okay.
But no, he will panic because of that.
Okay,
fair enough.
Yeah, you roll damage while Fran is jumping down, and I think it's going to be Constitution to see like how well your shins deal with landing from this distance.
Should I roll the damage for her, or do you roll?
You roll.
All right, so 1d4.
Oh, 16. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's fine. You land and like a small crater appears where Fran has landed, and it's extremely anime and cool. You, however, do take 3 fire damage from your friend, and I am pretty sure that's going to take up your entire turn unless you've got some cool lines or bonus actions you want to do.
Well, from here, now that they're on the other side, they can see that people are swarming Kita, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she has not forgotten the plan of the little lost child, even though it's clearly not realistic anymore, but she's still gonna yell, "Yo! Hands off my kid!"
Ah! I love it.
I love her. I just freaking love her.
In fact, the one goon who said I had a mum once actually sort of drops their large cartoonish rubber hammer and was like, about to sneak up and smack Kita on the head, and he's like, "I'm sorry." Okay, I think that wraps it up for you guys. On the other side of the wall, Mr. Infernal is not getting very cross, and he seems to get crosser and crosser and crosser, and this vibration of anger seems to come out from him, and I'm not gonna roll for this because it's like basically going to be a two-part thing. But behind you, you feel the world shudder, and this gigantic stone wall cracks even more than the crack that was already in it, and it begins to break. And you suspect that that's not going to last all that long. However, he is still on the other side of it. And whoever his big stompy friend is also on the other side of it. So that's all that happens this time. Kita, what's doing?
A question: how many goons are there besides the ones that are on the boat but not yet arrived?
Okay, we have lost one of the monkeys. So at present there are 3 in immediate proximity to Kita. There are 2. There's 2 hyenas and a monkey, who is the one that just dropped the mallet, looking very guilty. There are also 5 that are heading towards you from the boat.
Right. So, Gregory, he doesn't want to do this. He really wouldn't.
Can I just say, sorry, my friend, but it's actually not your turn, it's Kita's turn.
Sorry, I forget.
It's okay. It's okay. You're trying to save your friend, but Kita, first of all, it is your turn. What do you want to do?
Using their action, they're going to shoot the monkey because they hit her. They hit them, and that is very mean of them.
It is. Oh yeah. That's gonna hit the monkey. That's gonna smack the monkey, but good. They also have rubbish hit points. Oh boy,
14?
Yeah. Monkey number 2 goes down. How does that look?
Again, they are shot, and basically leaping off the arrow mid-air is another one of the cats.
Okay. Oh gee, I mean the slow motion cat to the face. I kind of want to see that in real life. That'd be really good. That's what happens. Do you have any bonus actions that you want to do?
And because they have crossbow expert, they can make they're going to pull out their second crossbow.
Yeah.
And shoot a hyena.
Okay.
Because they have 2. They have 2 guns basically.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
18.
Yep, that's definitely gonna hit. So you shooting one of these hyenas that's close to you?
Yep.
Ooh,
a 9. That's not good.
9, not so much. Like this hyena is the one that really doesn't like cats. So even though the cat that you throw at it does like get a claw in, it's too wary, and is also like this one is punk. This hyena is a very cool looking lady, and she just snarls at you in a not funny way, and that's all that happens.
And because they actually survive that, the cat's secondary effect comes into happens.
Okay.
Oh, good.
They're pushed back 5 feet.
Yep.
As they are hit by a cat.
Yeah, they like wince enough. Like you caught them in the ear, and they didn't want a piercing there, so they sort of like go skidding backwards a little bit. So yeah, they are pushed backwards. The next person, unless there's something else you want to do something else?
And then Kita's going to yell, "Diversion!" again, and take off.
Yeah, and the donkey takes its cue, and again, like, tries to jump out of the box. I'm actually going to make up a stat for this donkey to do, like, what should I make it do? Like, I mean, this is like a dex save, isn't it, basically? I think donkeys are fairly agile. I'm going to give it a +2, let's see. 12. Yeah. I'm going to say it manages, like, to clip the top of the box so that it tips over, but because it's a donkey and its box has just fallen over, like, it basically lands on its side, and it's very ungainly and a bit sad. It makes a sad hee-haw sort of sound, and it can't make its epic escape quite as dramatically as it wished. It is, however, very distracting. Fugary, what are you doing?
Alright, I have... Dobra. I'm sorry, Polish is slipping. The question is, how far away from Gregory and Fran is Kita? Because seeing as setting anything on fire when there are animals trapped in the boxes is a bad idea.
Yeah.
And also, he doesn't like casting any fire attacks because, he will yell to Fran, please follow me, and run up to Kita. And On
Yeah,
them
oh,
both.
whoa, you asked a question and didn't let me answer it. So the answer is that Kita is 60 feet away from you. So you can get there if you dash, basically, but that will take your action.
Oh, frick.
Mm.
For
Goodbye,
reference,
Sam,
Kita's basically
because
running from one side of the dock to the other.
Sorry, there were two of you
Yeah.
talking, I couldn't hear either.
For reference, Kita's basically running from one side of the dock to the other and back again.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, you're still like a sizable distance away because this is why you couldn't hear or see particularly what was going on with these crates. So you have to be at a certain distance.
Yeah. So Gregory will use his dash action, and I don't know if grabbing Fran will also have her dash, or how does it work? But he needs them all to be in one place for the next turn. That's,
you can
all
basically you can suggest to Fran that she follows, but Fran has to make the decision whether she wants to dash or not. So
Please come with me. I think I can help. He's really panicked because he just caused her fire damage. And again, he's hurting people. This is really bad. So he just starts running towards Kida, hoping to somehow help.
okay,
And he just, please follow me.
yeah. So I think unless there's a bonus action you want to take, that's going to be Figure's turn. Is there anything?
I don't think I have bonus actions.
No. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Unfortunately, before Fran can do her action, sorry, we have to stay with the order. It is the goon's turn, and there are two very unhappy hyenas, and there are 5 other minions who are heading towards you. Guys, this fight is gonna be something. Oh, I don't know what to do with you. I didn't expect the fight to be here. For some reason, I was not expecting the docks to be where it happened, but it makes sense. So yeah, hyena number 1 is gonna try and take a chomp out of you. Kita, that's it specifically. 10 ain't gonna do it. Hyena number 2 is gonna take a chomp at you. This one has slightly higher strength. 8 ain't gonna do it. You're a nimble little thing, ain't you? And the other ones that appear are still like far enough away, apart from 2 of them who have little short bows. So one of them is going to fire at you. That's an 18. Yeah.
It's
That hits. So unfortunately, this is a fire arrow, so it's going to do.
ooh.
Yeah. Gee, where did I write that down? It is here somewhere. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's just that. Okay. 6. You take 6 fire damage. Yep, that's going to smell nasty with the burnt cat fur. And yes, another one is also going to shoot one of these fire arrows at you. 16. Does that do it?
That is my armor class, so I believe that hits.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's like it just gets you.
Mm.
Like you were trying to get out of the way of the other one, and this one comes and snags you as well.
Question: how much health does Kita have
Ooh.
right now?
Yeah, that's
They are now bloodied.
yeah, I'm very sorry about that, but yeah, that's the situation, my friend.
Alright.
This is what happens when you split a party. So yeah, that's all that happens. However, because yeah, the other goons are still heading towards you, and those 2 are like just hanging back. So that's where we're at. Fran, finally, it is your turn.
Yeah. Let's see. Hold on a sec. I need to check something.
Mm-hmm. I will also point out
All
that
right.
while you can do whatever you like as players and as characters, you don't actually have to like defeat these guys. The mission was to find out information and get back alive. So I will just remind you of that. Fran, what are you going to do?
So what Fran is going to do is she sees that Kita isn't in the best place. So, but she also, it seems like Gregory has a plan. So she will, she will follow his lead in terms of where to go, but she is not going to wait to take her action. She's going to pull out a net and try and throw it at these jerks who are trying to pile up on the actual child.
Okay, that's fine. So are you using your movement to go 30, or you're like I'm trying to figure out like where you are.
Well, Gregory was the one who was trying to direct where to go. So, are we?
Just
Sure,
heading towards
let's-
Kita, pretty much.
Yeah, so the thing is, Fury used his dash action to go 60 feet, so you can like move 30 and then try and throw your net, but like, you know, you'll still be further away from the action.
Wow. Well, if it is, actually, hold on.
You can still throw things at them. I mean, like you have ranged weapons.
Do, but yeah. I will. Yeah, I'm gonna go 30. So, hopefully that will mean, you know, staying back from whatever hotshot here is gonna do also, and she will throw the net to hopefully get in the way of these guys attacking the child.
Great idea. Okay, yeah, I will say that, you know, you can probably snag both of these hyenas if you throw it well enough. They are quite close together.
All right, fingers crossed.
8.
Nope.
8 is bad, man. Like, 8 is, like, that ain't even
Does
gonna
she,
hit
does
one
she
of
get
them.
advantage because they are close to Kita?
Don't know, do they?
Would that did that count as flanking?
Is that something you get advantage on as a fighter? Again, I am still learning as a DM, so I'm not familiar with everything.
I know flanking is a optional rule where if multiple party members are close to the same target, they get advantage.
I'm gonna
because
say
like
yeah.
you're surrounded.
You know what? I'm gonna say
Because
yeah.
you're awesome.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say yes because I'm
Okay.
nice. Also, this is very confusing because you don't have a map. Again, I apologize for that, but I literally couldn't. I couldn't draw all of this.
No, it's all
A 16.
better.
16 will do it. Yeah, I'm gonna say that gets the one on the left. I think it would have to be slightly higher than that to get both of them. Let's be fair.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So you have caught a hyena. Congratulations. They are really mad about that.
Yeah. Turn it into the complaint department, buddy.
Okay. Is there anything else you can or want to do?
She does get 2 attacks per action.
She does.
So, yeah, she is going to also pull out an axe and throw it at the other dude because,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, do it.
I mean, I'm not sure. Is this the one that also took a huge bite out of Kita?
I'm gonna say yeah. The one who's in your net, I'm giving the status of prone because I think that figures.
Yeah, I believe a net results in restrained.
Okay, restrained. You'll have to fill me in on like what affects that character when we get to it. I'm gonna guess like disadvantage on like everything, but okay, yeah. You chuck an axe at the hyena that took a bite out of Kita.
Nice.
Yep, definitely. Roll damage.
And beep, boop, bop.
Make it good, make it good. 7. This hyena is not down, but looks really bad. And in fact, they're not paying her enough for this. So she actually starts to back off, and you can feel like this hyena is out of the fight, even though it's not her turn.
And Fred's just like, what did I say?
The hyena sort of goes, hey, and you feel a tremble, which kind of went very well with your epic growl of fury. Unfortunately, you remember that bad luck point? Yeah, there's a big chunk of masonry that's going to come down and bonk you on the head because that's unlucky that it did that. And I think a large chunk of masonry would do D10 damage, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
a 3! Amazing! A miraculously merciful 3 damage.
Okay, so, let's be real. Even if it was 10, the one good thing about being a fighter is she has a buttload of hit points.
She does.
Yeah, they're durable.
They're durable. So yeah, it just kind of, it lands, there's this big chunk of plaster masonry rock that lands on your head and splits in half, and like, you just blink afterwards like that was nothing. It doesn't even mess up your hair.
If anything, it just makes her like look more intense as she's glaring down these jerks.
And there's this cloud of masonry dust that settles behind you, and you hear boss, you could have just used the magical door. And the boss says, shut up. It comes through this cloud of dramatic plasterwork. Again, like, this magical wall and island is kind of shoddy. So, like, part of it is stone, part of it is just, like, it's a facade. It is a fun fair, after all, so they made it look pretty, but it's like, there's nothing there, dude. Part of these, like, buildings are made out of papier-mâché. Mr. Infernal is now directly coming through behind you, though he is 30 meters away from you. So what does he do? He doesn't do anything, because that was his turn. He was breaking the wall. However, he has a friend. He's a very big lad too. This is the puppeteer, Bomb Stroley, which is going to be a hell of a thing to remember how to say.
Oh boy.
Bomb Stroley comes striding through the cloud, and he's actually taller than you, Fran, and that takes some doing. And what he's going to do is something not nice. So you are gonna have to make a dex save, and I really hope you make it.
Me?
Of us?
Yeah, Fran, you are going to have to make it because you are definitely the closest person. However, his range is like 60 feet with this thing, so you can definitely get snagged in it.
Oh.
That bad luck is still hanging on to you, even though the damage wasn't all that much.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so these sort of spectral green threads come and wrap themselves around your big arms, and one gets you in the back, like straight between the shoulder blades, and you feel very strange, and you are in fact compelled to dance, and this necrotic sort of spectral puppet show takes hold of you, and next turn you are going to have to make a will save to break out of it. But right now,
Oh, good. That's Fran's strongest quality, you know?
that's why I said I wanted you to succeed on that dex save, but you didn't, mate. So that's where you're at, and it's very humiliating. It doesn't actually do you any damage, but yeah, you are basically possessed by magical puppet strings. And Bomb Stroley thinks this is hilarious and does this deep booming laugh that I can't do because I am not a really big guy. So that's how that pans out. Kita, it is now your turn again.
Okay then, so okay, so Kita's going to hold their action to cast a spell. The spell will depend on what Fregery does.
Okay, so
Because they have no idea.
Shall I put you in behind Fury?
To be honest,
Yeah.
Okay, that's
the plan was different. But now Fran is away, dancing her life away. Kita is bleeding. He doesn't know what to do.
Okay,
It's
actually not.
What to do. That's
Kita's going to cast. How far away is Fran from the big guy?
30 feet.
Yeah, 30 feet.
Cool.
Okay.
Kita cast Light Growth
Okay.
right at his feet.
Okay.
It counts as difficult terrain,
Mm-hmm.
and every 5 feet they move, they take 2 d4 damage.
Yes, they do. 2d4 damage. Okay. That's what you do. So you're not holding your turn, you're just doing that now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Sorry. I'm
And
just-
mod, what restrain does is your movement becomes 0. You can't. You have attacks on you have advantage, and the target has disadvantage on dex and attack
Okay,
rolls.
that makes sense. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's extremely helpful. And again, I appreciate people like helping me with all these rules because I do have like the book and stuff open, but it takes time to like find stuff. So that's very helpful. Next person.
And Kita's gonna try and use the restrained hyena as cover.
Oh, nice. Yeah, sure, you can totally do that. You're really close, so I'm not even gonna like make you do movement stuff. You hide behind this this sizable hyena who's covered in a net and snarling and trying to claw its way out. And the next person in the order, unless you have other things you want to do.
Nope.
Okay, the next person is the donkey, who is just going to get to its feet, looks a bit knocked about, but there's a rebellious gleam in this donkey's eye, and you feel like it might have a New York accent if it could speak right now, but it doesn't. So, yeah, it's just going to get up, and you can tell, like, its next turn it's going to try and do something, but you don't know what. Figure it's your turn.
Oh, frick. I really don't know what to do. Quicker is basically me now. He doesn't know what to do. What kind of
Dylan's
save
always
did
nice.
Fran have to make to break out? That's the question.
Sorry, I missed half of that.
What kind of save does Fran have to make?
Oh, a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom save.
And for the record, Fran has a wisdom of 6, which gives her -2 on all wisdom rolls.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Oh, frick. Okay, so he would love to heal Kida, but they are at a safer distance, and Fred is kind of oh, frick, it's untouched. Never mind. I thought I could cast it on a range. Alright, so I'm sorry, I'm just messing this all up. I'm
No,
so
you're
bad
not.
at this.
It's really hard to think on your feet, especially under these situations. What I'll do to give you some time is to remind you of what the situation is, because it has got complicated and we have no visuals.
Yes.
So, on the one hand, you have Kita hiding behind this restrained hyena. On the other, you have a hyena that is bloodied and looks very eager to get away from the fight, so not a threat. You also have 3 minions coming from the boat towards you. There are 2 on the boat that are armed with short bows and fire arrows. You have Fran, who is being puppeteered, which is hilarious, but also kind of sucks. And you also have Rough Terrain, which is, as it were, protecting you physically from Mr. Infernal and the puppeteer.
Yeah. Okay, so seeing that Kida is hurt, Gregory will cast Cure Wounds as a 2nd level,
Good idea.
which just means that will be 2d8 plus his spellcasting ability modifier, which is
Wisdom.
Where is it?
That's an extremely
As
good
I
move.
said, I'm great at DC mod, not modifier. Alright, so how it will look is he will kneel down, take off both his gloves, and put them around really close to the wounds, and his hands begin to glow this very warm but strange white glow. And let's see how well this goes.
18. That's very good.
And as he just covers the hands over the wounds, they slowly begin to patch up. And when he finishes, they go back to being orange, and he puts the gloves on and asks, "Are you okay, little one?" I'm sorry, I wasn't there. And he feels really bad for leaving this kid alone, because he's supposed to be the reasonable one.
Oh.
Using the hyena's hands, it's gonna pat him on the leg, saying, "It's all good."
How much fire damage does this hyena take? I've got to do this. It's so funny.
That's just 1d4.
1d4.
Fire.
Sorry. Okay, they only take 1 damage, but it's still kind of funny, and they're also again, they're attuned, so they get the empathy thing, so they're like, "Oh," and then they're like, "Ow!" How could you do this to
He
me?
does not approve, but there's a more serious situation right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I need to plan for what happened next, and let's see what calamity arises.
Okay. Do you have any? You said you don't have any bonus actions, but I just want to be sure there's nothing else you want to do before.
No, I don't have anything.
Okay.
I packed him full of actions, and I kind of realized it was a bad idea.
That's fine.
So go on.
Yeah. Okay. So the next group of people. It's the goons. It's the goon show, which will be funny only to English people. But never mind. So yeah, you have this prone hyena who really is kind of cross because you now just burnt his paw as well. So he is at disadvantage going to try and attack. And he's going to try and attack Fugary because it was actually you that hurt him. And that's an 8, which is not going to do it, so I might as well not bother. But if it's a critical failure, that could be funny. It's not. Okay, so yeah, he just tries, but he's so snarled up in this net. And he also is kind of like, you're on fire, man, I don't want to touch you. So yeah, he completely fails. The other hyena is running away. And you notice, interestingly, because this hyena runs away, she gets into a little boat. And there's quite a few of these smaller boats, like there's these barges, these barks that are clearly for the cargo. But there's also little rowboats, and there's a couple that are moored, but not very well. Like, they're tied up, but you can easily, ship off with one of those. And they have little oars. And the hyena gets into them, and does Captain Hook goes skipping away across the water, and she's out of there, she's gone. However, there are 3 other minions who have, by this point, arrived. There are 2 hyenas, again, and one of these people is a monkey, but they look a little different from the other monkeys. So, no, the first thing I'm going to do is do the archers again, because otherwise I'll get very confused. So, one of them is going to fire, hilariously, a fire arrow at Fugary. Because, he's just a silhouette. So that definitely hits. It's a critical hit. That was a nat 20. However, you're on fire. So are you just, completely resistant to fire damage, or is it just you have resistance?
I think I'm completely resistant. We didn't discuss that, but I think it would make sense that being made of fire his whole life.
You know what? I'm going to say you are resistant, so I'm going to say that you do just take 7 damage. You don't get the critical bonus. But you still take 7 because it was still an arrow. Like, you've been hit by an arrow, the fire doesn't hurt you so much. And the next monkey...
let me decrease my hit points.
Yeah. So you take that much damage. And the other flaming arrow monkey is going to fire. Oh no, I'm really sorry, Fran. That even hits you, doesn't it? So that's 2d6.
So.
That's a 2d6. You take 9.
You take 9
burninating damage. So that's happened. The good news is these 3 other minions who have now appeared and are in melee range for Kita and Fugary. None of them are the fox, and you have a feeling like that guy looked really tough. So you're relieved probably that none of these people are them. However, the first person to move amongst them is this monkey who looks slightly different. He's got a big drapey robe on, he's got a funny hat on, and he's got a magic sparkly wand. It's like the most wizard looking monkey you've ever seen. It's kind of cute, really. But unfortunately it's not a very good idea to have a wizard fighting you guys. So
not great.
Yeah, not great. So just going to be a straight up attack from this monkey. 17 is going to hit you, Fugary. That is definitely going to hit you.
Yeah.
So yeah. Here's a fun thing, because I knew that you were going to be a fiery fellow. I have just basically invented this. So Firebolt. This is Water Bolt.
Oh dear.
8. You're gonna take twice that though.
Damage.
Yeah, he fires a water pistol at you. That's a water pistol attack. You take 16 damage.
Oof.
Oh,
Yep.
great.
That's rough.
That's rough, my dude. Yeah. The other 2 hyenas are going to work together, and they are basically going to ignore you guys, and they are going to extract the other hyena from the net if they can. Is there anything I should roll to do that, or just, they're going to use both of their actions to extricate their friend? I think that they will just... Yeah.
Let me take a look.
I mean, I could roll dex to see how well they do.
I think it's actually a strength check.
A strength check.
Hmm.
That makes sense. Okay, well, they both have the same strength, so let's see how this does. A 3.
They're not gonna do it.
I'm gonna say that that was so pathetic because they both rolled a 1. I can't be bothered rolling again because this is funny. They try to untangle their friend and they end up getting stuck in the net as well. So you now have 3 hyenas who are restrained and they all feel very silly. It is Fran's turn.
Okay. Oh boy, wisdom saving throw.
Yeah, wisdom saving
Here we
throw.
go.
Drum roll, everybody.
Uh,
A
Yeah.
-1!
yeah, that's about what I expected.
Oh dear. I mean, what kind of dance are you doing?
I don't know.
A
Pop and lock.
Yeah, pop and lock. That seems appropriate. Yeah, you're pop and lock, but good. There's some really bad, 90s version of what grown-ups think cool rap is, but it's not in the background. It's like, you feel like you're taking psychic damage from that. It's so embarrassing. Yeah, you end up doing that for your entire turn. I'm very sorry, and yet not, because I was hoping that someone would end up doing a dance. Mr. Infernal thinks this is very, very funny, and he is walking forward 30, so he is now in range of all of you, and you're already occupied.
If I didn't get a -1, I would try and be like, could she punch him while dancing? But no.
I might have allowed it if you'd rolled well enough, but no, nowhere near. And he's gonna try and do this carrot trick again, but it didn't work on Fugary. What he's gonna do is try and do it on Kita. So Kita, can you make a wisdom saving throw? And you do have donkey ears, so yeah, this may well work on you.
Oh.
22.
Hey, nice.
Ain't nothing. You don't like carrots. Ugh, vegetables. Blah. So
They're a child. They hate vegetables.
you do. You dislike this orange offering of high vitamin A, and bat it aside. He's really upset because this is a cool thing that he can do and it's not working. So he just looks. He makes this outrageous scream. It's like a horse's whinny. He's so angry. It's really disturbing. But his puppeteer friend is a little more in control of himself, and although he's having a great time maintaining his concentration on the puppet strings, note to you guys, concentration, I'm trying to give you help here. He's also going to try and do something to... Oh no, he's too far away. He's too far away because he's too slow. He actually has a movement of 20
I would
feet.
like to point out that the horns are hidden until someone steps in them.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. Mr. Infernal would have definitely tried to walk forwards, and yeah, he's going to take damage from that hidden.
How
stuff.
far does he walk in?
I would say again, he's walking 30 feet, so he's way in it.
Oh, so that's half to 15.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult terrain. So
okay.
half movement.
Yeah, so he only moves 50. Well, I mean, the spell didn't work on Keita anyway, so we can still have the funny visual. It doesn't affect you.
Yeah, but
So yeah, he takes 7 and is very displeased about all this. Mr. Puppet Strings sees this and is there's something weird going on there because again, he's a magic user. So I'm afraid Mr. Puppet Strings is going to stay where he is, and he's just going to concentrate on making Friend do a silly dance, which is humiliating. Keita, it is now your turn.
Okay then. How far away is he? In total?
Which person?
The puppeteer.
The puppeteer is actually quite a way off. He's again 60 feet because he's just come through the wall. Yeah, sorry, mate.
Okay, so Keita is going to run forward 30 feet. So that they're within range of the hand crossbows.
Yeah, you can do that, and yeah, you're doing that as a movement, so no opportunity attack. Yeah.
Well, they would be, but disadvantaged.
Okay.
they're tied up.
They're all,
Yeah,
all
they're all
trapped
tied
in
up.
the net.
So they will try and attack you though, because they're ensnarled and enraged. So that's going to be 3 lots of disadvantage. This is going to take very. Okay, that sucks. So that one fails. That one fails. Wow, good luck. That one might just... No, it doesn't do it.
Nope.
Okay, yeah, none of them managed to do it. They all try to get you at once and clash heads, and it really hurts.
Okay, so now that Kita's just within range, they're going to fire twice at the puppeteer.
Mm-hmm.
Take that, bitch.
Yeah.
1d, 2d, 20 plus 8.
Oof! Oof! Yeah, that hurts. He looks very surprised, and because he's very surprised, I just have to roll a d20 to see if he can concentrate. He does maintain his concentration, unfortunately.
Right.
But yeah, he makes this sort of
Wait,
noise.
it's hold on. It's 2 attacks. So does he have to make 2 concentration rolls?
Yes. Let's see. Shall I roll that again?
And I'm just going to roll all of my damage at once to save time.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. The first hit, he manages to concentrate. The second is what gets him. And yeah, your puppet strings, Fran, are broken, so you are free. You don't have to do any wisdom saves. Sorry, I keep saying will for some reason. Oh, whoa!
And he takes...
Yeah, okay. He's not down, but he's bloodied. He looks really unhealthy very quickly. Like you got him good. You got him good.
And as the cats are clawing at him, they're going to leap off his back and push him 10 feet towards... 10 feet, towards Kita, into the spikes.
Into the spikes. What a good idea. That's great. Okay, so that's... No, not D24. That's something that is not correct.
If you want to roll that.
Another 5! Yeah, this guy looks very unhealthy and very unhappy. Again, you don't think they're paying him enough for this. Have you got anything else you want to do?
Then Kita, once again, distraction!
Distraction seems to be the name of this donkey, because what this donkey is going to do is run forward and try and kick all of those tied up hyenas into the water. So I think what this is going to be is like a strength check to see if it can kick these bodies into the water. Again, because they all just failed and bumped heads, I'm going to treat them as a single mass. 22! What a glorious spectacle this makes!
Brilliant.
And,
I love this donkey. This donkey's the hero.
Yeah, guess what this donkey's called? Wamplik. So Wamplik kicks them real good, and they go... It's like a triple pointer. Like, you want there to be Olympic judges holding up cards for the score. For the world's biggest cannonball splash, as these 3 helpless hyenas are tossed into the water by this donkey that victoriously brays and does the wheeling its forelegs in the air like the Zelda horse. And yeah, that's gonna be the donkey's turn. Fugary, it's your go.
Right. There's the magical monkey. There's the infernal guy, and there is the puppeteer. Am I missing someone?
Yeah, there are 2.
Want to know.
No, you're doing very well. You've got Magic Monkey, you've got Mr. Infernal and the Puppeteer, who are both in this difficult terrain. But there are also 2 monkeys on board the ship who have been firing arrows at you, which is very annoying.
Right. How far am I from Infernal and the Puppeteer? Like,
yeah, like
feet or something.
It's like 35 feet. I'm gonna say like 30 feet. Otherwise, I'm gonna get so confused.
Yeah. Alright, so can I ask everybody to let me monologue for a little bit?
Sure.
Go for it.
Go for it.
I will. Alright. So, seeing as this is a very difficult situation, his friends being either puppeteered, hurt, him being hurt, everything happening, the donkey screaming, he is panicking. He also is hurt, like that's what's happened of his HP. He doesn't really know what's happened. He's panicking. He wants to help everyone. He wants to save everyone, but he can't. And that's what scares him the most. And then something happens. something very strange. He stands up and burns completely white. And extending his hand towards the evildoers, he says something in a language nobody understands. And this giant flower of fire, this burning bush rises behind the evildoers who hurt him and his friends. This is the wildfire spirit.
Woohoo.
And I will ask them to make a dexterity saving throw.
Excellent choice. They both suck at that.
To defend.
Okay, this is the Oh, Mr. Infernal is in 17. How's that?
It's against my what is it against?
And the puppeteer gets 13.
Against myself,
What's your wisdom?
my DC is 15, so the puppeteer fails.
Yeah, the puppeteer
To
fails.
take 2d10 fire damage to the puppeteer.
Ooh! I'm gonna say, like, I strongly suspect that the puppeteer is gonna die with this, so you may want to, like, just describe what happens to the puppeteer. Did Mr. Infernal survive that with the 17?
Yeah. So
That means he takes half damage, right?
Takes half damage, yeah.
Yeah. So the summoned spirit just appears behind them, and the sheer heat makes the guy pass out.
Yeah.
Because even though Gregory is just standing there, not speaking anything, burning white, something in him still keeps the pacifist way. So I will ask him to pass out, not to be killed.
Okay, yeah, non-fatal damage, that's fine. The puppeteer goes down to, like, -1 or 0, is stabilized, but, like, yeah, bam! Hits the floor like a small earthquake. The Mr. Infernal, you suspect, because he is infernal, has a closer relationship to flame than certain other people would. But he's still going to take half damage, so if you could roll that for me?
That will be 1d8. Freaking.
Exclamation mark, my friend.
Yeah.
You've still got to roll it again.
Right, never mind.
Yeah, it doesn't work if you just edit it.
8! Oh, that's still
He
pretty
takes
tasty.
4 damage.
And can I finish it before we move on?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so after the spirit appears, the guy passes out from sheer heat, and Infernal takes the damage. The white fire burning around Gregory's head disappears, and he's again orange, and he's like, what's happening? And he looks at the spirit before him, and he is terrified because he remembers great fires from his childhood, great fires of his own making. He is absolutely terrified of that thing. He doesn't know where it appeared from. He doesn't know what it is. He thinks it's an enemy.
Oh.
But he sees his extended hand and just the spirit looking at it, and kind of begins to question if it was him. So he will stay silent for the rest of the turn, pondering that.
Okay, that was extremely epic and amazing. Keita and Fran, I have to ask, like, how do you respond to this?
That was radical!
Keita is just completely silent with, like, eyes as wide as saucers.
Valid, very valid. And in fact, you're not the only one, because the magic monkey is basically the only minion who's left on the dock behind you, staring at what just happened. He just turns around on one foot, walks very quickly and calmly back up the gangplank that he came down, and they pull up the gangplank, and the boat starts to sail away. And the other two monkeys are like, you know, the ones that have been firing arrows that are on fire at you, like, look at their flaming arrows, and then look at this thing And then they just, like, drop them over the side into the water, and they go out, and they are ollieing the hell out of there. They do not want anything to do with this. The stakes were not supposed to be this high. Also, I have to say, while all this has been happening, you may have realized that, you know, in terms of a mass operation, not that many minions were interfering with you, and none of you made any perception checks. As this chaos has been happening, apart from the one donkey that you released, other donkeys have been shepherded out of the park and into the cargo holds, and several other boats have already left. And they're not all of the donkeys that they'd expected to get are aboard and being shipped away into the black of the night. But there is a receding sound of sad donkeys disappearing, and that has happened while you've been fighting these guys. And that's the goons' turn. They have abandoned Mr. Infernal, who is standing there seething, but also kind of in awe of what you just did. Like, there's almost a smile on his face because he's so impressed. Fran, it's your go.
Okay, so she just finished dancing, but she is going to follow up on what I said before and turn that final dance move into kicking Mr. Infernal in the head.
Yes, please do. I will note, though, if you're doing that, you will end up in the difficult terrain.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Yeah.
She really wants to punch this dude.
You're made of meat, you're fine. Okay, yeah, that definitely gets him. Please, I'll just have to roll you 2d4 of damage, which is going to be nothing to you, even if it's a max. 6. Nothing.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with that 18 hit?
She basically turns this awkward puppeted pop and lock into a proper like break dance where she just sort of kicks her legs up and clocks this dude in the head.
Nice.
And hopefully it knocks him further back into the thorns, because God, what a tool this guy is.
That's absolutely what he is. He deserves every bit of ass kicking that he gets. So roll me damage.
And because she's got special feats, she can do extra damage with an unarmed strike. Still just a d4.
In fact, she has very special feat that she is using to kick him with. Okay. That's that, and plus a 2d4, I think, because, yeah, again, you've furthered his advance into these nasty, nasty thorns. 7. Oof. Ow. Yeah. Your attack was insulting. The thorns do more damage, and he's starting to feel like maybe the ship that sailed off had the right idea. Is there anything else you're going to do? Because fighters can do 10 billion things.
Yeah. Fran is going to just, you know what? She is going to continue with her theme, but she's not going to keep dancing. She is going to try and break his nose.
Oh, lovely.
Oy.
It's a very big nose, to be fair. I mean, you got a target.
Oh.
Do. Okay.
No, wait. I have to actually roll the hit first.
Yeah.
Oh no! Unfortunately, 11 is not going to do it. Is there any reason that you would have advantage? I want there to be.
Well, he is staggered back into the thorns. He can't exactly move around.
You still have inspiration, my friend.
Oh, hey, yeah, I do have that.
You do.
Yeah, she's just like, you know what, bud? Think you are the one who has been made an ass here.
Oh!
And she punches him.
Okay, yeah, you definitely get double the damage just for the insult. So please roll damage. Please do.
Wait, that's not the right thing.
Gregory
That's
was
what you
next to
rolled.
Cheetah who would be covering their ears because profanities.
All right, that's 8 damage to him.
Very nice. And the thorns again, because, like, you're still in the area. 5. Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. Yeah, I mean, tell me what this looks like. You take him out. What does it look like?
Basically, she has knocked this dude back into the thorns. She's just sort of towering over him, and just sort of like, her new weird donkey tail is swishing about angrily. She's pretty bloodied and scratched up from all the tiny bits of damage that have been adding up over the course of the night. And she just towers over him and just sort of like brings down her massive meaty fist into his face and pushes him further into the thorns. And yeah.
Yeah, kasplat, bang! And there's this kind of awful hissing sound as he goes down, and he sort of almost seems to deflate. It's not like entirely, but you feel like this thing was not entirely put together right. It was like this almost inflatable suit that this infernal Toon was wearing to look more like a human Toonkind. But he's passed out completely. You have obliterated all the enemies. Unfortunately, a lot of them escaped with a lot of the donkeys. But
is there any visibility on the retreating boats in the distance?
I will have to ask you about something in a moment.
That's fine.
That.
I'm gonna ask you to roll perception to see if you can still see any of the boats or what direction they're going in.
Can I also make that check?
Absolutely, you all can. The fight is over. 8. You're still too victorious in your defeat of this guy to properly
20.
see. A nat 20 and a 23 besides. 26 besides. These are all extremely good rolls. You two, who are closer to the dock anyway, and you were watching the magic monkey say goodbye on their boat. You see the majority of this flotilla disappear into the night to the south, which is not a great leap of logic when you consider where on the map they are. But you do see, the last thing you see is the figure of this robotic Warforged fox standing on the back of the boat, and he is looking at you with a cybernetic eye, the one that is not covered up with an eye patch, and you get the feeling that he's literally got his eye on you, so they have definitely taken
How far
note.
away is he?
Sorry?
Like, how far away is he?
He's a way off now. Like, this boat is
way more than 120 feet?
Oh gosh, I would say 100 feet. So yeah, what are you gonna do?
Oh, that
Kia
is
is
interesting.
going to, as a bonus action,
Yeah.
transfer her hunter's mark to him.
Mm-hmm.
If she can, if they can.
From the hunter's mark, that is a useful tool.
Yeah. You
And
do
then,
that.
using their inspiration, they just point their hand crossbow up and fire.
Hang on, I thought you used your inspiration. Did I mark that down wrong?
Didn't you give me 2?
Oh,
Yeah,
sure I did. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, you do that. You fire a crossbow bolt, and you're definitely going to hit your mark. So roll damage. Interesting.
18 damage.
Okay, so how good is your eyesight? Because like you've done the hunter's mark, but it is dark. Like, can you see what happens? I wonder.
I'm going to say vaguely because they're a cat.
Okay, that's fair enough. I would say that's argument for having dark vision, actually. Yeah, you see the arrow, the crossbow bolt arc up beautifully and come back down, and it lands in his shoulder, and he doesn't flinch at all. Like, you don't think
Just gonna sulk and kick the ground.
Yeah, you don't think he even felt that.
Can I do something?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So first of all, Gregory is just looking again at the thing and doesn't really know what it is, but it doesn't seem to be an enemy yet. So not knowing what else to do, he adjusts his collar and says, "I'm very pleased to meet you. My name is Gregory Muna. May I ask your name?" And the thing doesn't respond because it's mute. So it's just really awkward. And he just...
if I may.
But then he sees the ship and Kita firing, and he has an idea. He gathers everyone, including the donkey that wasn't taken, because they seem to want to help. And he says, listen, my friends, we need to help them. We need to save them. And I have a way of doing that. And he will just let me check. Oh, it's range, all right? He will mutter some words and cast water walk.
Okay, I'm gonna say like just because we're hitting 3 hours, my dude. Can we say that this doesn't work? It's like I need to stop playing this game, and the whole point is that they are going to get away, and then we can continue this in another game. Actually, what I will say is your water walk it kind of fizzles, and you see this magical monkey next to him, and you suspect that he did something because the DM is tired, and we need to bullshit so we can get to the end of this game. I'm sorry.
And Fran walks up next to him, and she's got the puppet master thrown over one shoulder and the deflated Mr. Infernal over the other, both of them unconscious.
Yeah.
And she's just like, I think we've done enough for one day. We'll get him next time.
Thank you so much, Uni. I apologize because I would love to continue, but A, I don't have the energy, B, I don't have the time, and I try and cap these at 3 hours. But you've done an amazing thing, so you've managed to like completely blow the cover on this place. Even though Honest Dom and Digyan have fled with the boats, where you discover like basically the whole park is empty, some of the people did survive this donkey treatment, like they didn't get as many naughty points as is required to turn into a donkey. Interestingly, with you guys, none of you got over 2 naughty points, which was what was happening in the park, was you were accumulating those, depending on what you did.
Right.
And if you had got 5, you would be a donkey, and there would be severe repercussions, and you would have to figure out how to turn back from that. But it didn't happen, thank goodness. They have escaped. But the park is exposed, and you are all heroes. You will receive one of TP Barnon's famous silk hats. These are an exclusive clothing item that can be in any colour of your choice. Figure yours is fireproof. And they act as a golden ticket for his park, so you can go there anytime for free, but they are also basically a status thing. Like TP Barnon is known amongst high-flying individuals who use his park for diplomatic purposes. So you have like kudos with that kind of crowd by having this hat. You also all receive another 50 gold for your hard work. And who knows what has become of these donkeys or what they were being turned into donkeys for. ... That is the end of the game. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Is the cash register still there?
The cash register is gone. I'm sorry. Honest John definitely took it with him. Nice question, though. Good question.
One last question. One more.
Mm-hmm.
Does the island remain after it's been abandoned?
It doesn't.
That's a good question.
It doesn't. After 48 hours, the rubble of the remains, which had started falling apart basically as soon as these ships departed, and you suspect like any number of magic users that were amongst the people who ran the park were responsible for upholding it. Like you would have to repeat the cantrips to hold up the walls. There was a lot of molding earth going on there.
Yeah.
Can I say a few things also?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, after this whole thing, Gregory will take the donkey that helped them and any donkeys that were saved, and he will interrogate them because he has to speak with animals. So he can deliver all the important information to the authorities.
That's
great. He will also look after them until he can find a way to dispel. And also, a little epilogue. The fire spirit, he kind of sits with it for a moment, and after realizing that it doesn't have a name, very politely suggests to her, and she doesn't object, the name Azalea.
Oh, that's nice.
So he will introduce them to Kita and Fran before she dispels. Because he just made a new friend, and it's kind of weird that, but you should.
And Fran will in absolute defiance of everything that makes Gregory anxious, give him a big old hearty clap on the shoulders. Like,
Aw.
you were awesome back there, dude.
As this is going on, Kita puts on their new hat, and you notice their all the cats shuffle on the coat, and when they're done, they're all wearing smaller versions of the hat.
Covered in hat.
Beautiful.
Just a jacket
For
covered in
talking
hat.
hats, Gregory just puts it on. It's green, and he makes his special fireproof flowers grow around it. So it's
Aw.
a green hat with orange flowers around like a wreath.
That's cool.
How about you,
Alright.
Fran?
Okay, I think that's a
Fran-
wholesome thing, but we do have to find out, Fran, what does your hat look like?
Yeah, she's got this cool sort of like maroon top hat with a like violet band around it.
I like that color combination, especially with your hair. Great choice, great choice. Okay, your character design has definitely been improved, all of you, because a top hat never looks bad on anybody. Okay, and I think that's basically the place we're going to leave it. Thank you very much for playing. I know this was a bit off the wall, especially with the lack of like a map to play on, but you all did very well. Thank you all for
That is
helping me
not a
keep track of
problem.
stuff. I hope you had fun. And
I did.
Oh, amazing.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And yeah, I'm gonna run away and eat now because I am starving. I love you all very much.
Go feed yourself and rest. Thank you so much for the lovely time.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you. This was awesome.
Yeah, we may find out what's going on with the Yakuza in future games, but this was a great way to introduce
Indeed.
them, and you were all superb, very imaginative players, and the fact that, I easily
And
gave all of you inspiration is
One last thing worth noting
Mhm.
is that since Kita put the hunter's mark on
Mhm.
what's his nut,
Yep,
they can track him
yeah,
across the world.
yep.
So he can never.
We are going to
truly
be
escape.
investigating that because Gregory wants justice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting. Okay, yeah, I'm going to leave that as a sort of ... question mark. And yeah, run away now. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop recording. Say goodbye.
Bye.
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 Bye.